I said, plug me in. I got stuff to talk about, damn it. I'll crawl out of my earbuds once a week to give you a show. That's what I do, folks. I do this show for the common man, for the people in despair. I bring this show into the world and I sell it everywhere. The simple truth lies waiting here, folks, for all of you to share. Hold on, I will take you there. Hey, what's happening? Coming to you live. Well, not live, but coming to you now. You're hearing it now. So you're hearing this now and it's fresh. This is a fresh show. Well, this isn't really now. I mean, you're hearing it later. I'm doing it now. What am I? I'm Grover. This is like, that's the thing. It's like near and far, but now and later. Oh, dude, a delicious candy. Let's get some green apple now and later. I should get those. But I don't want to do those. If I eat those during the show, then I'll start drooling. My mouth will fill up with spit, and then it'll just me fucking. Now I'll sound like my buddy Dennis. It'll be awful. My buddy Dennis says this thing. My buddy Dennis says that. And it was that it was like, you know, when we were growing up, it was always the go-to back and forth insult because he's a shorter guy and I'm a fat guy. So it was like literally. It was just like if Laurel and Hardy were jagoffs, like, and they had to fight all the time. So it was like inevitably he would just be like a short guy who had this thing happening. But I shouldn't even make fun of that because I'll tell you this: my buddy Dennis, he's rich beyond belief. I mean, he's fucking hee-haw Sam Wainwright from fucking It's a Wonderful Life, and I told you he's come through for me in the past millions and millions of times, and it's so cool of him to do so. But dude, here is the disparity. Here is the difference in life. By the way, first of all, hi everybody. I'm here. My name's Mike. That's Lily. She's over there. We've got a weird dynamic this week. We've got a weird dynamic. I wouldn't even say this week. I would say this month, maybe even this year, this season, year 7. There's a weird dynamic in the air. Things are kind of strange between Lily and I, and between everything at all. Well, we'll get to all of it eventually. I just hit my hand. No, you're into it. You are. Here's why. Here, let me talk about this. I'm actually going to talk about it now.
Don't talk about it.
I have to talk about this.
Why do you talk about stuff?
Because I do. Because you know why? Because I haven't been talking about fucking anything. Let's be honest with ourselves. I've been literally just kind of, hey, and then this sort of thing sort of happened, and it's like, because I put blinders on. I fucking threw blinders on, and I just kind of walked forward, and I haven't unleashed the bees in a long fucking time, goddammit, and the bees are on the loose. Seriously, I've only been bringing one bee. Let's face it, every week I brought like one fucking bee, and hey, you know what? I brought a fucking lowercase bee, and that's not good at all. Fuck that. I am tired of being lowercase b. I need a goddamn swarm. I need to unleash a huge fucking death tornado of stingers in black and yellow and just fucking leave everything lying in my goddamn path. I want to talk. I want to fucking talk, folks. You know what? I've been shut the fuck up for 3 fucking weeks. I want to talk. Let's talk. Grab a chair. Sit the fuck down. Well, actually, you listen. You fucking listen. I'll talk. I'm feeling good. Sort of good. I think. I don't know. I'm fucking bananas, folks. I will not lie. I am fucking nanas. I wish I could fix it. I can't. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me, but I do. It's that weird thing. Like, things are wrong with me and I know what they are, but I can't fucking fix them. And they keep happening and I keep letting them fucking happen. And I am in a goddamn hamster wheel and I can't get the fuck out. I just have to stop, right? I just have to go ahead and just be me. But that's the problem. I'm awful. I can't be me. I got to be somebody else and quick. I need to fucking figure out who I want to be. Or I want to be a different version of me. I'm being a different version of me, but this new different version of me, I don't know if I care for him, quite frankly. He's a little different. He was a big leap. It should be baby steps. I should baby step into being new me. Bring old me back for a little bit. Let me hit somebody. Let me fucking do something, right? Right? I'll get to that. But you know what's funny? In all this time that I've become new me, you know who's old me? Fucking Lily is old me. It's the craziest thing in the fucking world. I come here and I sit down and I want to do a show and I want to talk and I kind of want to, I want to Monty Python and I want to look on the bright side of life. And she is like, fuck this. I hate everything. I hate everyone. I am leaving. I am walking the fuck out. And I come here, folks, and I sit here in this chair and I look at her and I'm like, I kind of need you with me right now. We need to be a sort of a team. But I'm not kidding. She hates everything. That's not even a joke. It's not an exaggeration. She is fucking done. Like, she She has fucking punched out and wants nothing to do with anybody or anything. And so then I come here and I already feel like half a fucking burden anyway to fucking everybody that I talk to or I deal with. And all the time I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, what the fuck? Do I do this or should I do that? Or well, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing or am I doing the right thing? Dude, my therapist just sits there and her head spins around like fucking Reagan in The Exorcist. Because you know what? It's so funny. I think I'm infecting her with my crazy, like my therapist. Because I come in and I'm just fucking crazy. And I will tell you this. I will. You know what? Let's talk about this for just a second. You know what my therapy sessions are? I swear to God, this is the fucking truth. My therapy sessions are this fucking show. They're this fucking show because I sit there and I'll just talk about everything that just happened in the past week or 2 weeks ago or in my life, and I drop and I talk, and she just sits there. And finally, the other day, I looked at her and I go, "Do you think I'm making like any progress at all? Like anything that we can hang our fucking crazy hat on?" And she's just like, "Well, yeah." And I'll be honest with you, I have made progress. I have definitely made progress in certain areas, and I'll get to that.
Progress?
But there are other areas where I have absolutely fucking not. But then again, I don't know if I ever will. I have no idea if that's changeable. I don't know if I'm fungible. I don't know if I'm tangible. I don't know if I'm a lot of ibbles. I don't know. I could be a tribble. There's trouble with tribbles and there's trouble with me. God damn it. Here's 5 short grables about the show. That's right, Adventure Time. I bring it to you right now. But the weird thing, the dynamic is I come here and I'm trying to. This is, and again, I bitch about this, and I shouldn't. I should never fucking do it. I mean, this isn't hard. This is awesome to do. I love doing this fucking show. It's my favorite thing. And then I come here and I'm with Lily, and I'm kind of like, all right, let's do a super team up Wonder Twins activate and I'm like shape of a podcaster, and she's like form of somebody who fucking hates everything in the world and wants not to be here. And I'm like, you didn't need a power ring to turn into that because you are that. You are absolutely that. Dude, here's how bad it is. Here's how much Lily hates life and how it's affected the way I think. I walked in today and Lily has like a huge bandage on the side of her face. I want to know who knifed her. Like, I want to know who fucking... I wanted to know who knifed her because I thought maybe she crossed the wrong person. I thought maybe she got in the wrong face. Because I'll tell you this, and here's what I'm worried about, okay? Remember I said I thought I was infecting my therapist with my crazy? I think I finally flipped Lily. I think I finally brought her out of her fucking sunshine tower and said, you know what, come and join me. Come join me down in the pit. Because she's in the pit. She's clearly in the pit. The two of us are in the fucking well. We're looking up at fingernails dug into the brick, and we're wondering when they're going to bring the bucket with the chicken bones so we can eat something to fucking night. That's right. I threw fucking in the middle of tonight. That's how fucking crazy I am right now. I broke up tonight with fucking to fucking night. Ha ha ha! Yeah! I came up with a word today in therapy, and I think it's a word. I made it up, and if it's because I said I was telling my therapist something about myself, something you guys know about me a little. Well, she's learning about Vice, and she's learning about things.
Learning about it? Oh,
Well,
good.
she's learning about certainly my interest in it, and we're talking about that today. And I said I like this, and she's like, explain what that is. And I said, okay. And I kind of tried to tell her. And then I said, I'm a carnalist. And I said, is that a word? And it was so great. She just looked at me and she goes, it can be. And I'm like, well, fucking anything can be a word. To fucking night can be a word. You're the therapist. You're supposed to tell me if I just said something wrong or right. I mean, that's the whole point. Aren't you grading me? This is all black and white. Everything's win or loss. That's my fucking life, dude. I can't figure it out. Everything is a win or a loss. I see everything in black and white. I see everything as a victory or a fucking loss. I'm either the best or I'm a fucking loser. I want to be a genius or a retard. I don't want to be typical. I don't want to be the same. And you know what I am? I'm typical, and I fucking hate it. I hate it. If I find out that I am just typical, I'm normal. Believe it or not, I'm fucking normal. You might not think so, and you might think that I'm abnormal. Dude, I'm normal, and I wish I wasn't. Like, I'm petty, and I'm all of the bad things that other human beings are, and I thought I could rise above it and be something different, but I mean, I'm not the watcher. I'm not this omnipotent fucking genius who can fucking look around and be better than everybody in the fucking world and thinks that he's the best. Because again, I do think I'm the best, but also I know I'm the worst. How can you be the best and the worst at the same fucking time? Well, you know what? I'm living fucking proof that you can be. I don't know, man. I can't figure it out. I can't figure me out. I can't, and I'm trying to, and I've figured some of it out, But unfortunately, I've turned Lily into me. She was the one that I wanted to try to come, and I'm like, dude, she's been my anchor for 7 years. I'm like, dude, you are through the storm. I will just grab onto your shirt tail, and you will be the one who fucking leads the way. And now she's just looking at me like, dude, let go of my fucking shirt tail. Like, I mean,
True.
you hate everything.
I don't. There are things I like sex. I love sex.
Are you a carnalist? That's a word, I think.
I think I'm a carnivore.
You're a carnivore? Oh, wait, sex-wise? Oh, my God. Hold on a second. That got grim. And I try to find distractions. I try to get out of my own head. It's hard, man. I'm in my own head all the fucking time. And I'm trying to fix what's in there. You know what I mean? Literally, it's like I'm... You ever see in The Simpsons when, like, Homer's got, like, the monkey with the cymbals just banging inside of his head? You know who I have in my head? I got, like, Mario from Donkey Kong, and he's fixing stuff with gears. Like, he's in there. He drives around in a little car, and there is a Donkey Kong. There's a fucking huge gorilla in my head, and he's up at the top, and Mario keeps climbing up there to get him, and he just keeps whipping fucking barrels at him and trying to knock him the fuck down. That's what my head is. My head's a huge game of Donkey Kong. And there's a chick in there somewhere, too, and she's been tied up and fucking captured, and Mario's trying to find her, and he can't. He can't.
And what are the bees then?
Dude, the bees are totally keeping Mario off the girders. They do Donkey Kong's bidding.
They're working with the Kong.
They do Mikey Kong's bidding. Fucking Mikey Kong's in my head.
Kong.
Is it Donkey Mike or Mikey Kong?
It's Mikey Kong.
It's got to be Mikey Kong, right?
Yes.
Ding, 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 ding. And don't think I don't hear that in my fucking head all the goddamn time. Because it's because there's a repairman in my head, and he's constantly, it's like there should be a men working sign hanging on my fucking forehead, because it's just, because I fixed some things. Some things have definitely been put on, and I'll tell you, we'll get to that. And I mean, I'm okay. I think I'm okay. I don't know if I'm okay or not, but I just want to fucking talk. I just want to talk to you guys. Can we talk? Can we do that? Can we Joan Rivers the shit out of this? Can you just pull up a fucking chair and I'll go, oh. I try to distract myself. I watch the World Cup. I love the World Cup. Do you love soccer, folks? I love soccer. I try to explain soccer to people, and they look at me, and they just think it's crazy, and they don't understand why I like it. You know why I like it? Because I like the idea of small countries winning the World Cup. That's who I'm rooting for. I was rooting for... I'm serious. I'm fucking serious. Who the fuck wants Brazil to win the World Cup? Fuck that. Brazil's Brazil. They're good at soccer. Who wants the U.S.? You know what? Fuck America. I don't get people rooting. They're like, woohoo, yay, American soccer. Dude, why the fuck do you care? And I get this, all right? Look, soccer's the world sport, so essentially the USA is kind of the underdog. So you're rooting for the underdog in a Rocky way. But Rocky wasn't an underdog, really, after the first movie. I mean, he was just kind of a monolith. The first movie, he was absolutely an underdog. But then from Rocky 2 through 71, I mean, he's just been a fucking jag-off to everybody. I'm serious. Rocky's like, you know, Apollo's getting killed. He's beating up Russians. He's winning over Russians. He's beating up AIDS patients in the street. What the fuck, Rocky? Throttle down, man. He beat up in Rocky 5. He beat up an AIDS patient in the street.
How do I not remember that?
It was brutal. It was like, yeah, it was, well, I mean, all right, granted, in the movie, the character was not an AIDS patient.
Oh!
In real life, the guy died of AIDS. But... in the film, he was the heavyweight champion of the world, Tommy Gunn. But in real life...
I'm looking at you like, I don't remember that one.
Oh, my God, it was brutal. When Rocky beat up the AIDS patient in the street. That I got to be honest, that's when the series really jumped the shark for me. When Rocky beat up the AIDS patient in the street. So we root for those kind of, and that's who we are as America. We beat up AIDS patients in the streets. That's who we are, generally as a nation. We are. We totally are as a nation. We are. You know who we are as a nation? We're. You know what we are? We're a fucking. We're a wet willy to the rest of the world. That's who we are. We're just a nation that would lick its finger and stick it in Honduras's ear. Oh my God, we're awful. And Honduras doesn't have an ear to spare. Those people are living in the street, chewing on sugarcane and trying to sleep in the heat. Leave Honduras alone. Let them win something. That's what I want. Dude, I was rooting for Chile. I was rooting for Honduras. Right now I'm rooting for Costa Rica. Costa Rica's my new team. You know why? You know why I want Costa Rica to win? Because I want to see their victory parade. Because literally that country is nothing. It's 4 farmers, howler monkeys, and the soccer team. That's all that lives in Costa Rica. That's it. So I want them to win and come back and have a fucking parade where they're just riding on wheelbarrows and like one of those fucking weird train cars where they got to do the seesaw thing and make it go down the track. But they don't even have train tracks over there because they couldn't import any Celestials to build any fucking train tracks for them, and they're too fucking lazy to do it because they're farmers. They're in the heat. They're taking care of business. Listen, if you ever had a packet of Sweet and Low, thank Chile. Thank the Ivory Coast. Thank these countries because that's where we get that stuff from. I have no idea if that's true. I don't even know. I don't know. It just seems like the Ivory Coast would be where we would get Sweet and Low from, right? Don't they supply soft? Actually, Ivory Coast seems like a place where we'd get like elephant rugs or some bullshit. Elephant ears. You ever have an elephant ear in a donut shop? Thank the Ivory Coast.
I've never had an elephant ear in a donut shop.
You should.
Only out of the circus.
You had them at the Oh, I see. You actually had real elephant ears. That's grim. Really? That's because you hate everything. Did you sneak into the pen and cut it off and? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's what I meant. In a donut shop, they make those. Dude, fucking elephant ears are brutal. Like they should even call those a donut. You know what that is? That's like, you know what that is? That's like eating a cymbal, like from a drum set, but made out of dough. Jesus Christ, an elephant ear is too big. That's too big for a donut. That's for some asshole who went, dude, I just ate 3 bear claws and I'm still hungry. Can anyone make me a fitted sheet made out of dough that I could choke down right now? Jesus Christ, no one likes a goddamn elephant ear. It's horrific. And elephant ears are crispy, right? Like bear claws are kind of soft, but elephant ears are like, they fry them up. It's almost like a flat churro. You know what it is? Fucking elephant ears. Dude, elephant ears are racist. That's for people who don't like Mexicans and don't want to eat churros because they think that they're supporting the Mexican economy. But in reality, they're fucking eating elephant ears, and all it is a flat churro, you dumb fuck. Elephant ears are flat churros. Dude, Taco Bell's going to make that, right? They got to make a flat churro. How do you not make a flat churro? You've already made a quesarita. I got to be honest with you. I saw that commercial yesterday with the sound down at my house. I saw the commercial with the sound down. It's a quesadilla, and they wrapped a burrito in it. Yeah. God damn. I want to go to Taco Bell, just to their corporate office, and break into the conference room if I can get through the weed smoke and find out who the fuck works there and comes up with all of this shit. I'm serious. Because that is all that... No. They're clearly not Mexicans. It is just stoners, dude. Stoners invent that shit. Absolutely. Stoners are just home just going, dude, what if we did this? And everybody's going, yes, that's fucking fantastic. You don't think Little Debbie was like a fucking stoner out of her mind? Making like sponge cake and putting jelly and cream in the center of it? And you know there's Mexican stoners because that's who came up with, gansito. Oh. Gansito, the superfluous duck. That's a fucking, like a cream cake with cream and jelly in the center of it. God, oh my God, you know a stoner thought of that. Dude, stoners are awesome. Stoners make the world go around. That is my favorite song from Cabaret, by the way. What are you doing? Hold on, we got people are bursting in.
I'm watching this thing.
The sound? Yeah. Oh, dude. All right, let's talk about that for just a second.
It's not. Everything's great. Keep talking about therapy. It's working.
Working in what way? I don't know what you mean. But I don't root for America in soccer. Like I said, I root for these little countries because I want them to win because they need to win something. Here's the rule. Here's my new rule. If you've won a war, you don't get to be in the World Cup. You don't. Because you've already won a war. That's the ultimate victory on the global stage. So what the fuck are you going to do with soccer? Like this week, Germany plays France. Germany, dude, those countries shouldn't even be allowed to be in the same title. Like, seriously, like France should just be like, dude, Germany, really? We kind of have a history with them. I mean, they had a terrible breakup in the 40s, Germany and France. I mean, I don't know if they want to revisit that by getting onto a soccer field together. If you've won a war, you're not allowed in the World Cup. That's what I say, goddammit. But that's what I try to distract myself. I'm trying to distract myself and keep myself from fucking losing my mind. But I can't. I try. It's July. I've launched my new workout program. I went out and bought a bunch of yogurt. Dude, I bought like 80 Chobanis. 80 seems high. But yeah, well, here's why. Because you know what? They go on sale, and I get the sale paper, and it'll say 10 for $10. So I'm like, dude, I got to go buy 80 yogurts. Like, I mean, and just stock the fridge and eat like 3 a day, and you just fucking knock those down. You're making a face. I don't know if it's because of my expense. Not really. I mean, if you eat them, like I said, if you eat 3 a day, then you get a month's worth of yogurt. It's gorgeous. Dude, I went off before I went out of time. Well, it doesn't matter. It's yogurt. It's already spoiled. What the fuck's going to happen to it? Well, no, dude, I've eaten Chobani yogurt like a month after the date.
No, don't
yeah.
do that.
Oh, it's totally awesome. Are you kidding me? It's so good. It makes it even better. It's like wine. Yogurt's like wine. I actually store it in a decanter at my house. Dude, I went off actually before I went out of town because I was just out of town. I don't know if do you guys know that I was out of town? I'll tell you about it later. I'll tell you about it later. Before I went out of town, I went off because there were sales. Dude. Um, and here's the thing. I get like 6 sale papers every Tuesday, but I only look at the big ones. Like, I don't care about the little ones because, I look for, like, I have a Ralph's, I have an Albertsons, I have a Vons, and then I go to Smart and Final because they have my water. All right. Well, they had a great sale on my water, so I bought 20 cases of water. Because I drink a liter. They have a case and it's 15 liters of water, and it's normally like $7.50, but it was on sale for buy one get one free. Dude, I bought 20. I bought 10, got 10 free. But the only problem is now I look like I have a fucking hobo house. Like, literally, it's just like stacks of water to the ceiling. But it's worth it because I can just grab and go a bunch of fucking liters of water. And people are like, dude, I can't believe you buy bottled water. Some guy actually, he like busted my balls at work. He's like, dude, why are you buying all this bottled water? I go, well, I'm not really buying the water. I'm buying the carrying case. He's like, what do you mean? And I go, well, I like a liter of water. So I don't want to. He's like, well, then why don't you just buy like one and just refill it at the sink? And I go, you know why? Because this isn't the fucking 20s. Jesus Christ. Because I don't have to sell apples in the street to survive yet. Are you fucking joking? He's like, well, fill it with tap water. Fill your and dude, this happened to me. Oh, gross. I was at Jill's house, and I went in her fridge and I grabbed a Propel, and then we got in the car, and then we wound up going out, and then I got to a place where I couldn't bring the water in. They're like, dude, you got to throw away the bottle. And I said, okay, and I opened it up and I chugged it, and I was already in the middle of chugging it, so I couldn't do anything about it, but when I drank it, it was plain water. Because when I was there the previous time, I had refilled a bottle with regular water, so I would have it cold in the fridge because there wasn't any bottled water left, and I didn't run around to the store. So a month later, I grabbed it and then I chugged it, thinking it was going to be blueberry pomegranate Propel, and it hit my mouth and it was just plain water, and it just tasted like bile. Oh my god, it was just because it just caught me off guard. You know what I mean? I was expecting one thing and I got another. Like, because I have this weird thing in my head. All right, you guys know I'm crazy. Well, I can make soda taste like beer just by thinking about it. And maybe you can do that too. Maybe that's not something so different. Because again, like I said, I'm normal, I'm regular, I'm typical. Maybe everybody in the world can do that. But I can drink, like if I drink soda because it's carbonated and fizzy, if I think that it's beer, it tastes like beer to me. And then I can make a face afterwards. Because I'm not a fan of beer. But I'll drink it. Dude, I'm starting to drink beer. I'm starting to do a lot of things. God damn it, what's wrong with me? Everything's wrong with me. But everything's great with me. God, I can't figure it out. I bought a bunch of yogurts. But like I said, I go to the big stores. Because there's other sale papers that I get for like Super King and Vallarta and John's, like these other fucking supermarkets. And you know what? That's just fucking poor people's supermarkets. Like I don't go to the poor people's supermarkets. I don't. You know what? I'll bet they don't even carry Chobani there. They don't. Because like Chobani is no bullshit. They if they have it, it's like it's missing the H. You know what I mean? So it's like Kobani yogurt. And I'll be like, oh, is this Chobani? And they're like, no, it's Kobani. It's super delicious. And it's like, yeah, but it's not Chobani. Well, it's kind of the same. It's just got less H. Fuck that. I want a lot of H in my yogurt. And honestly, they don't even sell yogurt at fucking poor people stores. If you walk into a poor people store, it's just candy bars and Mountain Dew. That's all they have because they want poor people to die. They just want poor people to die. That's how they want it. They want them to eat at fucking fast food joints. That's why Wiener Schnitzel gives you 5 chili dogs for $5 fucking bucks. Just that's what poor people can afford. Go ahead, eat it, get obese, and die. Die. They don't have healthy stuff like yogurt at the goddamn poor people supermarket. You know what they got there? They got Go-Gurt. That's what poor people eat. Go-Gurt. Oh, fuck. See, normal people, healthy people eat yogurt. Poor people eat Go-Gurt because they need flashy colors and they need to suck something out of a tube. That's how poor people eat. Ugh. The fuck is wrong with poor people? I need my yogurt to be purple. Fuck, gross. Poor people need to eat neon colors. I don't get it. What's wrong with them? You have to eat to survive, but instead you need this flat. That's why they drink Mountain Dew. It's like, oh my God, look how bright green it is. It looks like something you'd find in Frankenstein's lab. I'm chugging the entire bottle. And then they run around in circles not getting jobs. Come on, poor people, pick it up. Eating Go-Gurt, drinking Mountain Dew, sucking stuff out of a tube. What's next? Soylent fucking Green? How green is it? Is it bright green? Fuck you, poor people. And look, I'm a poor people. I recognize that I'm a poor people, but I'm trying to advance past that. I'm trying not to get dragged down into the food ghetto that poor people live in. As I eat a giant Hershey bar while I do this fucking show. Who cares? I don't fucking. You know what? Fuck Go-Gurt. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know why you have to have. Because I mean, I like. You know what? I like my yogurt with fruit on the bottom. I like my yogurt out of a container. I don't want to have to eat my yogurt like I'm a fucking anteater sucking ants out of a goddamn swamp, all right? I don't like it. Although I guess an anteater, He doesn't suck. He doesn't use a tube. Like his nose is a tube, right? Doesn't he? I don't know. I saw a cartoon with him. And I don't know what they really look like. Anteaters are. Yeah, they're. He's got a long nose and he sticks in an anthill and he just sucks up a bunch of ants. You know what? I'd rather have that than Gogurt. Fuck that. Honestly, I gotta be honest. Even describing the anteater and his horrible existence of having to plummet his giant nose into a giant anthill to try to fucking get down a meal, I would rather choke down an anthill full of ants than knock down some Gogurt. What the fuck, Gogurt? Fancy colors and a rainbow and all that bullshit? Yeah, no, I don't care. Crawl in my mouth. Fuck it. I don't care. I would eat ants. Dude, when I was in New York, I totally went to the Chinese market. Live ones is a little, that's a bit of a chore. Well, anteaters do. Well, yeah. Yeah, but I'm sure they also, they sleep in the street too, anteaters. Probably not the street. I wouldn't imagine the street. There's not like an anteaterville. Like, you know, hey, dude, let's go to Anteater City. And then they're all sleeping in the street. Probably not. What are they, Hondurans? No, they're fucking anteaters. They live in a jungle somewhere, right? But you know what? They live in Ivory Coast. That's what you get. You get sweet and low and you get anteaters. That's what you get from the Ivory Coast and elephant ears. Where the corn is as high as an elephant's ear in a flat churro. That's where the Ivory Coast is. I think I gave up on that bit halfway through. Did you hear that? And it wasn't like I gave up on it. It's just the bee that was carrying that joke just did a nosedive and said, fuck it. Dude, this isn't even worth saying. I'm not even going to finish it. But unfortunately, he hit the ground and rolled to the finish line, and I had to say the goddamn joke. And joke is a strong word. Yeah, I probably wouldn't eat live ants. But when I went to New York, when I went to the Chinese market, I totally walked around looking for bugs to eat. Because I wanted to eat something crazy. I was like, dude, let's do it. Let's eat something weird. Because I was there. But there was nothing weird enough for me to eat. Because they had live stuff and all that, like turtles. But but it's not like, first of all, you can't eat a live turtle. Because my teeth may be strong, but they're not that fucking strong, folks. Dude, Jill told me that it's like snapping turtle season in Wisconsin. And they walk around like zombies in the street. And you have to stop your car and let them cross. And I was like, what?
I thought you were going to say they're on the menu everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Really confused.
Well, dude, it's so funny. To me, I was like, you know what? Wisconsin should put a team in the World Cup. I'd root for them at that point. You think that crazy snapping turtles roaming around in the street? Oh, dude, fuck. All right, I'll get to that in a second. Fuck. I should tell you now, though. I have to say that now.
Please.
All right, because I'm kind of scattershot, and it's not really following a through line, but you know what, the bees. So I'm driving with Jill the other day, and we're driving in the car. We were coming home. It was Friday night. And, dude, it was foggy and cold. We're driving. And we turn up a street to go by our house. And it's just one of those things, and I'm not used to this anymore. In the Midwest, I guess it sort of happens because she was completely unaffected. But I'm driving, and I see it right away, and there is a deer, a big, not a. I mean, it wasn't a 12-point buck or anything, but it might have been a lady deer. I don't know a madeer. Is that what you call them? Madame, a madeer. I don't know what you would call them. A lady deer. A deer?
A female deer?
Ray. A drop of golden sun?
So the deer's name was Ray.
May have been. It was Ronaldo Ray. So there's a deer on the side of the road, and we go to, and I drove, and it was that thing where it was like an optical illusion, where I saw it and just kept driving, and then I went, whoa! And I hit the brakes, and she goes, what? And I go, you didn't see that? And she's like, what? And I go, oh my God. I go, look in your rearview mirror. And she kind of looked, but she couldn't see. So I backed up, and then we pulled up. He didn't run, or she, or whatever the fuck it was. It may have been two guys in a deer suit. I have no fucking clue. I'm not from there anymore. This stuff kind of throws me off, man. I fucking see it and I lose my mind. And honestly, if we were in the Ivory Coast, a couple of tigers would have come out of the brush and taken it the fuck down. It would have been awesome to watch. But instead, it was just fucking hanging out in somebody's front yard. And we pulled up alongside it, and Jill's just like, oh yeah, that happens all the time. And then it kind of walked into the street in front of us, and it was super slow. And then Jill's like, oh, she's lost. And I'm like, yeah, she's lost. There's a car here. Of course she's lost. I didn't say that out loud because that was what was in my head. But yeah, so then we drove home, and I'm just like, dude, that was a giant fucking deer. Crazy. But turtles and deers and all sorts of bullshit. I didn't realize that she lived in Dr. Doolittle'ville. It was fucking crazy. And she and I went to the zoo. Oh, dude, we actually went to the zoo a few weeks ago when she was here in L.A. Look, folks, it's been a month. But we went to the zoo, and it was so great because that's an idea I always want to do that, go to the zoo, and I've mentioned it. We've planned on going before, and we never got to it. So when she came to town, I was like, well, let's do something. Let's do some fun stuff. Because I will tell you this, I did have this plan when she was coming to town. This happened while I was off the grid for the past fucking 3 weeks. Steve Perry has reemerged and started dropping in at shows to sing with a band called the Eels. It happened like around Memorial Day weekend, and the second the videos went up on YouTube, and it was funny, that was when I flew to surprise Jill. So we were sitting in the backyard, and I looked it up on my phone, and I watched it, and I'm just like, oh my God. I mean, because I think we all know that I like Steve Perry. I literally want to fucking Rupert Pupkin him and just steal him and bring him to my goddamn house and tie him up. You know what I mean? Honestly, just if I could just get Sandra Bernhard on board, we would go ahead and grab Steve Perry and we would tie him up in my goddamn basement. And I don't even have a basement because I live in an apartment, but I would build a basement if I thought I could get Steve Perry and hide him in there.
That's creepy. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care. The guy's already got my ex-wife's fingerprints in his fucking hair. Why? He and I are connected by some sort of weird DNA strain as it is. If he ever winds up dead, they're going to fucking find my ex-wife's latent prints in his fucking skull. He's probably washed his hair since then. Don't you think? Probably 7 years? He may have. So he's come back. He's from the past. He's lurking. He's showed up with this band, the Eels, in Minnesota. So the second that happened, I immediately went to the Eels tour schedule to see when they would be in Los Angeles. Because I said, I'm buying fucking tickets. I'm just buying tickets just on the off chance. Because I gotta be honest with you, I don't know fuck all about the Eels. That's it. You know what I know about eels? They're delicious. That's the only thing I know about eels. So, but I would have bought tickets, and I wanted to do it, and Jill was coming out that week. And in my head, I'm like, you know what? I could probably buy tickets, and we could go to this. That would be fun, and if he showed up, it'd be amazing. And then she came out here, and I kind of forgot about that plan because we just basically had sex for 2 days. So I didn't even really think that I was... That's kind of what happens with me. Like when I see Jill, like I'm like, oh, dude, you want to go to an amusement park? This will be fucking hilarious. And then I can't get out of bed for hours and hours. I just can't. I can't. I'm a carnalist, folks. So... And by the way, she's not in bed with me. I'm in bed, but she gets up, she goes to the pool, she goes to she watches TV, she has some fun. But I myself, I can't. I just fucking lay there ready. I just lay there like a sex bear trap, waiting for her to fucking fall into it. All right, so that's vivid. All right, so what? So I did not get tickets to see them. And then of course he joined them in Los Angeles, and he was fucking amazing. And I'm so pissed that I didn't go. But when you consider the alternative, I really don't fucking care that I didn't go. I'll be honest with you. Although I'll also be honest with you, even if we had gone to the show, the sex bear trap would have shown up at the show probably because I fucking can't stop myself. All right, so I'm not kidding. I can't stop myself. No fucking brakes. 454 big block engine coming forward. And there was not a comma in there. Although there could have been. You figure out where it went. So we went to the zoo. And I got to be honest with you, we went to the bear display, and when the sex bear trap showed up, it made for all kinds of trouble. The bears wandered in. There was a sex bear trap. The people were looking. Oh, my God, it was a mess. The zookeepers came out. They turned the hose on us. It was very disturbing. The meerkats were puzzled. The Boy Scouts were confused. The Boy Scouts had some questions. We organized an impromptu press conference. I had charts. I had schematics. Jill got dressed. But we went to the zoo, and it was totally fun. Like, I mean, we had a great time, but I will also say it was that thing where, we went to the zoo, and it was like 80 degrees, And animals are fucking lazy. I mean, let's just talk about that for a second because, dude, everywhere we went, the animals were totally just fucking laying in the shade and doing nothing. Like, look, if you're in the jungle, you can get away with that shit. I understand that. Because you have home field advantage. All right, if you're in the jungle and I come to your jungle, here's the thing. If you're an animal, if you're listening right now, if you're a tiger, listen to me. Okay? If you're not a tiger who's hiding in the brush out in Wisconsin waiting to tackle a deer in front of me while I'm driving, then you need to listen to me. If you're in the Ivory Coast, tiger, listen to me. If I come to the Ivory Coast and I come to the plains of the Serengeti, or I come wherever you're at and you have like your family and all your bullshit and your job and your tiger nonsense, and I show up, then you know what? By all means, take a nap. Because I'm on your turf and you're well within your rights to behave the way you want to behave. But you know what, tiger? If you were dumb enough to get shot with a tranquilizer gun, thrown in a cage, shipped across the ocean, and then thrown into a cement enclosure for my enjoyment, you're on the fucking clock. Get up and do a tiger dance or some bullshit, because I'll tell you what, this nonsense where you just lay in the shade has got to fucking go. And let's be honest also, animals of all stripes and sorts, we've stolen you from jungles. It's not cold in the jungle. If anything, 80 degrees should be balmy and nice for you. It's like a nice fucking vacation because the jungle is fucking 98 degrees. It's at least 20 degrees cooler in the cement enclosure. Do a dance. Make a little love. Get down tonight, animals. Get down tonight, baby. I just walked past every display we went to. We walked and we had a fantastic time. I would say, dude, but you know what? There were only a couple of things that I really, really wanted to see. Thankfully, one of them was hordes of unbehaved Mexican children. So I was very happy to see them in the zoo. Oh my God. Is there a Spanish word for supervision? Is there one at all that you can teach the parents of these people? Dude, we walked into like a reptile house, all right? And I got to tell you what, speaking of turtles, man, there was a turtle who was totally fucking doing the sideways turtle walk. Like, he was awesome. And that's the thing. When you're in the zoo and all the other animals are laying in the fucking shade and doing nothing, if a turtle with personality shows up, he's the greatest fucking thing you've ever seen in your life. I caught him out of the corner of my eye and he was doing like a fucking turtle shimmy, and I was like, that turtle is fucking awesome. He may as well have had glitter on his shell. He was the star of the goddamn show. Snakes are laying on branches and not moving, not even flicking their tongues out. Dude, do the snake thing. You're a fucking snake. You see we're all looking at you. Just give us the tongue. That's all I ask. Give us the goddamn tongue. Be a snake. You know what? Because honestly, if you're just laying in the branches, you're fucking furniture. You're snake-shaped furniture, and I don't like it. I walk by the yak enclosure, and the yak is like half in a pool, and I don't even know if there's the rest of them there. I got no fucking idea. That could just be like a yak fake Loch Ness Monster bullshit thing to trick me into thinking I'm seeing a yak. We saw some awesome stuff. We definitely saw some awesome stuff. Although, dude, they had a rainforest thing. They're like, dude, totally come and see our psycho rainforest. And I really wanted to go because they had otters, which I wanted to see. You know what? I want to see otters hold hands and swim around. That's all I want to see. I wanted to go with my girlfriend and go, hey, look at those awesome otters. Aren't they us? And then they would swim around and they would have like an otter moment, and then the sex bear trap would arrive. I wanted to jump into the otter enclosure and hold hands and float with Jill next to the otters who were floating holding flipper hands. You've seen that on the internet, right? Don't otters have the internet? Don't they know how they're supposed to behave? We went to the otter enclosure and I got to see them, but they were hiding in logs. The otters are hiding in logs. Dudes. These 5 white zookeepers have gone as far as they can in building a fake rainforest for you to frolic in. Start fucking otter frolicking. I'm tired of this. In the rainforest, they said, too, they had the giant bird-eating spider. That, you ever seen him? It looks like a Corvette with 8 legs. It's fucking amazing. So I'm like, dude, I cannot wait to see the bird-eating spider. It's got like a name like the Gorgon. I mean, it's like, it should have fought Godzilla. It's that kind of giant fucking bird-eating spider. And here's the best part of it, too. When you see the little sign, they give you, because there's plenty of school at the zoo. And I love school. Like when I was in D.C. with Francis, we went and checked out a bunch of school. Francis moved to Portland, by the way. So when I do a show in Portland, Francis will be there. That'll be totally awesome. And then Francis sent me a note. And she's like, here's my new cell phone number. Throttle down, Francis.
Wait a minute. She moved and got a new cell phone number?
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't want to be found by anybody except me, apparently.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you let everyone know where she moved to.
She's on Facebook all over the place. Please. She's look,
She's
you
witness protection. Here's my new cell phone number.
Here.
Okay, Francis, where are you?
keep it quiet. Don't tell anyone. No, everyone knows where Frances is because she's either out taking photos or talking about old punk shows or handing out suffragette flyers. I mean, she's that person. Frances is like human Etsy. So it's so ridiculous because people they become my friends through the show. You know what I mean? I just feel like I have because here I'll tell you this. Why not? Remind me where we're at.
I have no clue.
We're at the Gorgon.
40 minutes.
Oh,
That's where
we're at 40 minutes. Jesus Christ. Sorry. I might as well go ahead and say this. I was invited to a wedding by some of our listeners, as a matter of fact. That would be Mim Crow and Alex Reinhardt, who are going to be married. And they wanted me to come. They didn't want me to officiate it, which I wish they would have. But they wanted me to come to the wedding. And I was cordially invited. And Miriam Crow and Alexander Reinhardt exuberantly invited me to celebrate their wedding ceremony. So I think, you know what? I'm going to use this opportunity to RSVP. I'm going to come to your wedding ceremony, Mim and Alex. I'm going to be there, as a matter of fact. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if there's formal wear. I don't know what I have to dress like because it doesn't really say. And you know what? I will be honest with you. This is a really nice invitation, but it doesn't give me the option of choosing an entree. I'm a little thrown by that, honestly. Are you telling me there won't be food at this wedding? Oh, I see. It has a phone number right here that I can call.
No. You have to log on to their website and fill it all out.
There's a website I need to log on and fill in, and it says right here. Oh, okay. Well, see, I didn't realize all this because I didn't read it. You know what I mean?
But you're going.
I just saw that they invited me to their wedding, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. I can't wait. I'm totally going to go to Minnesota and go to this wedding. And so I'll just, you know what? I'm going to read this out loud right here for all of us right now. You guys can hear this. Several rooms have been blocked off for use if I want to stay at this particular hotel. The reception is going to follow the wedding. Please RSVP by Saturday, February 22nd. I may have missed the deadline for this wedding. That seems... I'm a skosh late. I'm going to say I'm a skosh late. Skosh is a unit of measurement I would use in this instance. They want me to join them on Saturday, March 29th. Well, then, not only did I miss the RSVP, apparently I've missed the ceremony. And honestly, we're this late in the game. I hope you're still married, guys. I hope you are. I hope that my absence from your ceremony did not lead to a rift that wound up fracturing anything. But let's blame the United States Postal Service, who decided to give me this week. And the weirdest thing, it is postmarked January 16th, but it did not arrive in my P.O. box until this week.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Because I went to my P.O. box and I grabbed, I had been there, I think like a month ago or 5 weeks ago, because I don't get a lot of stuff there. I did get some other things that I'll discuss. Well, why not? I'll talk about our friend David Kemp. Because like I said, these people become our friends, you know what I mean, through the show. And our friend David Kemp, no, they're your friends too. Just because you hate everything doesn't mean they're not your friends. I mean, I hate everything, certainly, and they're still hanging around to listen to me I don't. They may have turned it off by now. I have no idea. You know who may be gone? Alex and Mim. They may have taken off because I did not RSVP for the wedding, unfortunately. Our friend David Kemp sent me, David scored a film, and then he just sent me CDs of the album. He signed them for us. He sent one for David. He sent one for Lily. He sent one for me. And he sent one for Jill, which I thought was very nice of him. And he signed it and autographed it for all of us. And he put a little message on there for everybody. And so David Kemp, thank you so much for sending us those. I appreciate that. And I guess I should be doing this at the end of the show, probably. I don't know why I got veered off into this territory. Because we talked about Francis, our friend, who now lives in Portland and just stands on the corner and passes out flyers to hobos. How many times am I going to say hobo in this fucking show? Jesus Christ. I'm mad at poor people. I'm mad at hobos. I'm mad at Mountain Dew. God damn, am I mad at Mountain Dew. I just watched on Unwrapped how they make Mountain Dew. It's literally just sugar and a carbon rod. That's all it is. They just throw a carbon rod into a pile of sugar and then it just forms a liquid that they try to fucking bag up before the fucking hazmat suits melt. Goddamn Mountain Dew. You know what? Even as a kid, I hated it. I remember drinking it and just going, is this supposed to be apple or green apple or... It just tasted bright. You know what I mean? It tasted like you were drinking light bulbs. God damn, I hate Mountain Dew. Even as a kid, I tried to place it. I'm like, what is the flavor? Because everything else has got a flavor. Even Cactus Cooler, you're like, what is this? I guess it's kind of orange. But Mountain Dew doesn't have a flavor, man. Mountain Dew just has like a fucking attitude. That's all it is. You know what? Fucking Mountain Dew is like drinking emotions. It's so gross. Dude, I'm going to have a big cup of anger. Get me some Mountain Dew. That's all Mountain Dew. There's no flavor to it. So, dude, we go to the zoo and we go to the fake rainforest and there were monkeys and fucking orangutans and all that stuff. And we went to the zebras, dude. There were some zebras chilling out. And they were like, there was this one zebra and he was totally standing on 3 legs. He just, it was weird. Like, he had like his foot up and Jill's like, oh, I think his foot hurts. She thought his hoof hurt. And I'm like, I go, yeah, maybe. I go, or maybe he's just like, dudes, check me out. I'm totally the styling zebra. Because look, if you've got stripes, you're pretty much the fucking cock of the walk. I mean, you stand out. But if you're in a group of a bunch of other dudes with stripes, you got to do something to fucking rise above the crowd. So maybe you go fucking 3-legged 50 Cent pip stance. I got to be honest, I don't know if 50 Cent has 4 legs. Does he have 4 legs? I don't know if he does. And why would he do a pimp stance? He's not a pimp, right? He's a gangsta. Certainly not a wanksta. I'll ask him tomorrow. I'm going to be in the club. I apologize. Tomorrow night I'll be in the club. I got to make sure I find him there. Because if I was in the club, he's not there. But if I'm in the club, guess who's there? 50 Cent. I used to do a joke about him on stage. And I would say 50 Cent. And after the show, I would always have like white people correct me and say it's 50 Cent. And I would be like, well, yeah, but because he even calls himself Fitty. Although, but Diddy called himself Diddy and this guy called himself Fitty. I mean, I don't know. I was trying to be true to the bit. Like, I mean, I wasn't trying to be like a fucking rap dude. I'm trying to that's his name. Right?
I think you were mocking him a little.
I did a joke about him. Of course I was mocking him. I forget what the joke was.
People who don't get humor.
Well, just people who feel pedantic enough to try to correct me on a joke. You mispronounced his name, or why are you saying his name like that? Because that's his name. What the fuck? Comedy clipboard? Get the fuck out of here. We're in the rainforest. And the thing is they had scary dudes in the rainforest too. Like I said, they had the snakes and fucking weird lizards and dude, we were in the reptile house before we got to the rainforest house, and that's what I'm talking about unsupervised Mexican children. It was just this never-ending pastel. I was waiting for them to start selling me chiclets and blankets. Like, I mean, they were just fucking relentless and coming at me and all over the place. It was like, you know what? The reptile house at the fucking Los Angeles Zoo is like Tijuana, except all of the lizards are behind glass. Tijuana, they're just open and running on the street. But in the reptile house, it's just like they've got them all hosed up. And these little, dude, the zoo needs bouncers. Like, the zoo totally needs security. Because, look, I recognize that I just told a tiger to tap dance. I know that's me and that's who I am as a guy. But I didn't stand there and go, hey, tiger, tap dance. Like, I mean, I wasn't a jag-off about it. I felt it in my heart, and I certainly thought it in my head. I did feel it in my heart. Because I paid to get into that goddamn zoo. And if I'm in there, dude, again, like I said, you're on the clock. Do something interesting. Do something tigery. Growl. Do a growly thing. The zebra at least gave me 3 legs. Good for him. I'm on board with that zebra. The other zebras are walking around doing what? Weird zebra shit, like eating apples and being stripey? Fuck you, stripey. Get on one leg. And that's how I feel about the tigers. Everywhere we went, they're all sleeping. Tigers and lions, they're hiding in the shade. And then this dude, so again, there's a ton of school, right? But the reptile house, not only and look, I'm amazed by this in restaurants. I'm amazed by it in coffee houses. But those are like places you're in all the time. But when I'm in a zoo, in the reptile house of the zoo, and you take a motherfucking phone call, honestly, they should be able to hit you in the head with a club and throw you in as food for the lions. You should be fucking devoured because you are ruining everyone else's day. My favorite was Jill and I were looking at snakes and stuff. We were having a great time. But, we were having a great time until every child from Mexico bumped into her And she's no bigger than they are, so they're like pinballing her around and knocking her up and down. And I'm like, Jesus, I had to save her a couple times. You know what? At the Los Angeles Zoo, you should have the option to have your own personal cage built around you that you can walk in so you're not bumped into by fucking relentless Mexican children. Oh my Christ. These kids are looking and they're knocking. Like they're like, hey you. They're like yelling at snakes. What the fuck are you yelling at a snake for God's sake? And they're yelling at the snake and they're trying to make him look at them and do stuff. And I'm serious. The phone rang and it was one of those fucking obnoxious. And the thing is, either put your phone on silent or answer it on the first fucking ring. Because if I have to hear more than once, you should be kneecapped, goddammit. So the phone rang twice, and Jill and I are looking in at the spiders or whatever the fuck we're looking at, and then this woman answers the phone, and she's just like, yeah. No, it's hard to hear you. No, I'm in the lizard house at the zoo. Like, and I you know what I want to know? I want to know the other end of that conversation. What is the next? What did that person say at that point? Honestly, if I fucking call you, and it and you answer the phone, you're like, yeah? I'm like, hey, man, what's happening? I can't hear you. Well, you're breaking up a little bit. Well, I'm in the lizard house at the zoo. My next thing I say to you is, I'm hanging up and never speaking to you again. How the fuck did you answer the phone in the lizard house at the zoo? Unless you're a zookeeper. And there is a deadly outbreak of lizard poison, you do not answer your phone in the goddamn lizard house at the zoo. And then you tell the person, like, it sounds like code. It sounds like someone is a spy, and you're like, does the eagle fly at midnight? I'm in the lizard house at the zoo. Done. There you go. Now you know the microfilm is under the garbage can and go pick it up at midnight. Motherfuckers. I mean, it was just... And we brought, I got to admit, though, even with all of this mess, we had a fucking great time because it was all, because it was me and her. We have fun. And to spend time with her was so great. We brought a picnic lunch. Like we went and had a picnic there at the zoo. But we went to the rainforest thing and we tried to find the otters. Like I said, they were hiding in a log, but they're still cute. And I wanted to see them. That was the whole thing I wanted to see. And here was the best part. Because we bought our tickets and then one of the tickets had a piranha on it. And one of the tickets had an otter on it. And then just at the end, we went to the rainforest and we saw the piranhas and we saw the otters. So our tickets matched what we saw. That was important to me.
Holy Christ.
That's an awesome trip to the zoo. Dude, because right when we bought the tickets, they're like, dude, here's pictures of stuff. It was almost like a contest. Go find these things in the zoo. And guess what? In the last 45 minutes, we found those fucking things in the zoo. Match. And I gave her the otters and I kept the piranha. But that's what you want, man. It was like literally, it was like, go check these things out. It was a little, you know what it was? I bought the tickets. It was a commercial for what was to come in the zoo. You know what wasn't on the tickets? A horde of Mexican children out of control. Next time I go, it's going to be there. It's going to be one ticket is just covered with a bunch of Mexican children, and the other one is just going to be a woman on a phone. That's what's going to be on the zoo tickets next time I go. We went to the rainforest, and they had the giant bird-eating spider. And literally, like, that's his name. Like, El Diablo, the giant bird-eating spider. It's like it's a race of spiders. I think a race is wrong. Maybe a species. Oh my God, dude, what if you were a spider bigot? Oh man, I hate those giant bird-eating spiders. Now look, tarantulas are fine. But I think we can all agree we all hate the black widows. You don't want them moving in, right? Keep them Nimby. NIMB with the black widow. And you know, I gotta be honest though, truly, NIMBY with the black widow. Like, I mean, not even as a racist, as a human being, NIMBY with the black widow. You're right. You're dirt. So we're reading all the school and we're reading the signs. And we get to the fucking giant bird-eating spider. And I got to be honest with you, I recognize giant bird-eating spider is a formidable foe. But dude, there's some fucking birds out there. Like, I mean, I've seen some nasty birds. Like, dude, when I was in Wisconsin last week, uh, I was driving Jill's car and I went, "What the fuck is that?" And she looked and she goes, "Oh, it's a hawk." And I'm like, "What? They're just in the wild here? Like they'll just fly around?" And she's like, "Yeah, we've got them all over the place." And I'm like, "Dude, we don't have I mean, maybe in California we got condors or some bullshit somewhere, but not by my house. There's not a fucking, because it came swooping out of the sky like a Viking was riding on it. That's what this fucking hawk looked like. It looked, you know what? It looked like the weird Viking chick from Heavy Metal was riding on the back of it, was going to go fight the guy with the metal hand before the Mob Rules from Black Sabbath played. That's what it fucking looked like. It was Tarna. That's what it was. It was fucking Tarna was riding that hawk and she was going to swoop down and eat a field mouse and then fucking kill a guy with a metal hand. That was what happened because all I heard was fucking Black Sabbath. I saw the hawk swoop down and fucking Mob Rules went in my head and I went, look! Look! Giant bird-eating spiders. In my head, when you tell me that there's a giant bird-eating spider, all I'm going to think about for the next hour is bird fights with that spider. Like what, matching them up with species? Because we saw some big fucking birds. Like we saw an ostrich. Like, dude, would that giant bird-eating spider take down a fucking ostrich? Because ostriches don't fly. Like he can't fly away even in the fight. Zoos would be better if they just had the species fight. Dude, that's what I want to open a fighting zoo. Let's have a goddamn fighting zoo. But you got to have like regular versions of playoffs. Like you got to have jaguars fight cheetahs and tigers fight lions. Like you can't have a fucking tiger fight the bird-eating spider. That's no battle. Dude, I'd put up fucking Glitter Turtle against anybody though. He was fucking awesome. He was totally doing like a sideshow dance. I thought he had a top hat on. He was fucking great. He's just like, cha-cha-cha. I'm like, dude, look at this fucking turtle. He's awesome. Because again, when everybody else is sleeping, I don't want to fucking look at them. But when this turtle just moseys out kind of sideways, like, yeah, Betty, turtle. It's like, yeah, turtle in the house. Infinitely more personality than Turtle from Entourage. So we get to the giant bird-eating spider cage. He's not even in a cage. He's not in a cage. He's in a house. He's in like a glass house. And we walk up and I start reading the school. And dudes, the entire trip I'm looking for the otter and I'm looking for the giant bird-eating spider. We get to the school sign and it's like the Gorgon, the devil of all spiders, the giant bird-eating spider. And then I start to read the paragraph and it says, though its name is the giant bird-eating spider, this spider is not known to eat birds. What the fuck is with this zoo bait and switch nonsense? If you have a giant bird-eating spider advertised, I expect to see him roaming free and lurking and eating pigeons the entire time I'm in the goddamn zoo. But if you want to keep him in his glass house, that's fine. But like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, make it like a show, like a Waterworld show. You know how they have the Waterworld show at the supermarket? Not at the supermarket, at the amusement park?
Same thing.
Well, I'll be honest with you. The Waterworld show at the supermarket is not nearly as impressive as the one at the amusement park. It's just a guy going, hey, want to buy this DVD of Waterworld? Although that guy is Kevin Costner. But if you want to keep him in his little house, then you should, at like 3 o'clock every day, you should let a bird fly in there and let him eat him. Unfortunately, your sign just told me that he's not really a bird-eating spider. That's bullshit. Then you know what? Call him the giant non-bird-eating spider. That's what he should be, because I think, again, my imagination's been going crazy. I want to see him eat an eagle. It's going to be fucking awesome. Then in the very next paragraph, it says, this spider is nocturnal, and he spends the daytime hours burrowed under the dirt so you can't really see him. So I peered into his little plexiglass house, Jill and I both, and guess what? He's nocturnal. So he's burrowed into the dirt so you can't really see him. Why is this even a display? Because I'll be honest with you, if that's the way it works, right now at my house, I have a giant bird-eating spider on display. Go check him out. Oh, you don't see him? I'm really sorry about that. It's because he's nocturnal. And he burrows into my purple chair so you can't see him until the nighttime hours. That's creepy. Actually, you know what? That's really creepy because think about it. Anywhere you are, that could be a display for a giant bird-eating spider. As long as it's daytime. At nighttime, you'd know. Oh, my God. At nighttime, you'd absolutely know.
Oh,
But I will say this. So we were trying to find him. Like we were really getting close to his little case. And Jill, she's short, so she like kind of squatted up. Short's not a good word. She doesn't like the word short. That sounds rude. She's tiny. Um, so she kind of like crouches down, and she's like, I don't see him, because she was really good at picking out all the snakes. Like we would look in the thing, and because there's like lizards that change colors and snakes that hide, and she would always find them. Like every time we'd be looking, she would peek in and she'd go, oh, there he is. See his white eye? Like literally this thing would be buried in leaves, and she'd go, there he is. And you just see him breathing. And I'd be like, oh my God, you're the dude. You should work at the zoo. You're totally a fucking animal spotter. She was great at it. You know what I picked out? All the Mexican kids. Hey, there's another one. Hey, there's another one. Hey, there's another one. Olay! So she crouches down, and I said, well, the sign says he's nocturnal. And she says, well, he's probably in there, like under the dirt. And I'm like, well, see if you can see like a leg or something, like if you can see any hint of him. And so she leaned in really close, and she's looking, and she's going, well, I can't. And she's squinting, and I'm like, well, he's got to be in there. The sign says he's in there. I mean, they wouldn't do this and not have him there. It's not that big. Can you see if he's anywhere? Because there's a lot of dirt, but maybe you can see his eye because you've been picking everything out. And she's like, well, I don't know if I can see him. And she gets really close, and she's looking inside the thing, and she's like, I got to see the dirt, but I can't really see him. And I go, oh my God, there he is. And she goes, ah! And I put my hand in her hair. And she goes, I can't believe you did that to me. And I'll be honest with you, the reason we took the last 3 weeks off is because I just stopped laughing an hour ago. She got super close, and she crouched, and she's looking at the, and I put my hand in her hair, and I go, oh, there he is. And she jumped. I mean, she jumped. It was awesome. Awesome. Her jumping because I scared her at the spider cage was more activity than any of the animals went through the entire goddamn day. So then we're leaving the zoo because it was closing time. We were there like 5 hours. It was great. We saw we saw pretty much everything. We didn't see the hippos, but we saw gorillas and monkeys and green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpyback camels and a chimpanzee. I saw cats. I saw rats. I saw an elephant. But you know what? Sure as you're born, I didn't see a unicorn. I think they only had them in the winter. Or actually, we went to the unicorn display, but he was hiding in the shadows. We couldn't see him because it was so hot. I love that cop-out. Like, yeah, it's hot outside. The animals are just bored. They're just bored, dude. But, dude, we saw this. This was pretty awesome. And this made me fucking laugh. There was like a sheep, or no, like a mountain goat or ram. Those dudes. Like bighorn sheep, kind of. With the roly horns. And they had a fucking awesome enclosure because, like, the alligators, or, there was one alligator and he was like cooling out in the fucking grass, but he looked like he was just in a yard. Like wasn't impressive, the enclosure. And the tigers and the lions, they were just lying on green cement. You know what I mean? It was just awful. I felt badly for them. But the bighorn sheep, like the rams, they had a mountain because that's where they live. So they, and it was funny, there was this wide chasm from the mountain to the thing because they would leap. I'm sure they would have to actually be able to leap off and fucking, I don't know, butt you in the fucking head or bat in your face or whatever. I don't know what they do. That's probably what they do. They would leap over and just go, bat, like right in your fucking grill. Like, yeah, take that. But you know what? If you're ever at the zoo and a bighorn sheep leaps out of its enclosure and goes to bat in your face, you know what you do? Just raise your leg up like a zebra. Boom. Stand completely still. They'll know. They'll know that you know the secret animal code. And then he'll nod, he'll lick your hand, then you buy him a fletchurro. They had churros at the zoo. It's funny because Jill is, how do I put this? What's the word I'm looking for? I may have talked about this before. Jill is frugal. Okay? So it was like 2 churros and 2 Cokes for $15. And I'll be honest with you, that was the most interesting display to either of us in the entire zoo. We could not stop laughing at it. Every time we walked past it, we'd go, it was like 2 churros and 2 Cokes for $15. $15. For dough and sugar. Dudes. But, all right, good for them. So we're walking out of the zoo. We're leaving. And, fuck it. I'm gonna. we're walking out, and near the entrance, like we're getting, we're leaving and we're going down these different things, and they had a giant fossil on display, and it was a whale fossil, and they had school. So we read it and said, this is the biggest whale fossil ever found in this, in whatever, and it was on display. And Jill looks at me and she just goes, well, we didn't even see the whales. And I'm not kidding you. Maybe 2 seconds went by. Like literally, it was this is what she did. She goes, well, we didn't even see the whales. I can't believe I just said that. Like literally, she knew instantly what she had done, and she knew she had unfortunately said it to the wrong person, because I couldn't stop laughing. I go, oh, well, the whales are on the other side. They keep them by the brontosauruses and the Tyrannosaurus rexes. And she's just like, shut up, shut up, shut up. I'm like, no, seriously, the whales are... And she's like, well, why would they have a whale fossil if they don't have whale? And she's laughing at herself because she knew she was so busted. And I was just like, no, honey, it's okay. We can go check out the whales, or we'll come back tomorrow maybe and see them. And she's just like, shut up. You can shut up anytime now. And now we continue walking. And I swear to God, as if Jesus himself sent her, we're walking, and a zoo worker comes walking up to us as we're walking by. And I go, excuse me. And she looks at me and I go, my girlfriend is wondering where the whales are. Can you tell me where... Of course I did. You're goddamn right I did. And Jill just goes, shut up. Like, she's just like so miserable. And but she's laughing because she's embarrassed, but like she knew. And the worker was just so great. She goes, we don't have any whales here. I said, you don't? I said, we saw the fossil. She goes, no, we don't. I'm sorry. And she just like walks away from us. And I have Jill by the hand, and I just look at her, and she just looks at me in the face, and she's just like, I hate you. She goes, and then she goes, I can't believe I said it. I can't believe I said it in front of you. And then I can't believe a zoo worker right at that moment happened to walk by. Why? Why did all that happen at once?
Oh, Christ.
I'm like, it's okay, honey. We'll come and see the whales another time. It was great. And then I'm disappointed because I was in Milwaukee last week. We didn't go to the Milwaukee Zoo and see the whales. So I'm so upset that we didn't. Because they must have an amazing whale display at the Milwaukee Zoo. That's why she was disappointed they didn't have the one at the Los Angeles Zoo. Literally, she's screaming right now, shut up! I was in Milwaukee this past week, and I went to, well, here's what they're calling it, Summerfest. The hard part, though, is Milwaukee is not having a summer. They don't... we went to Wednesday night, Summerfest, and Jill was in like a hoodie. I mean, she was all bundled up. I wore a hoodie as well, and she was freezing. And it's so funny. Those festivals are all about concerts and food and just kind of atmosphere and drinking. Certainly in Wisconsin, they are absolutely about fucking drinking. So we went to Wednesday night's Summerfest. It was like 54 degrees when we got off the fucking shuttle bus. So we're walking to go in, and you just see people inappropriately dressed in shorts and fucking bikini tops and freezing their fucking nuts off. And even, because again, we had hoodies on and we were frozen. Well, normally, like I said, it's all fun and frolic and drinking and concerts and music and everybody's having a good time. Dude, Wednesday night, it was just a fucking matter of survival. Like, it was opening night of Summerfest, and they canceled the fireworks because there was fog and a high wind, and it was freezing cold. And when we walked through, you're supposed to be seeing people having fun. It was just misery. It was absolute fucking misery. It was half attended. It was just dead. And the reason we were going was because I was, Jill's, she's indulging me. Rick Springfield was there. And it just so happened where I wrote her once they announced it, and then I bought my ticket to come out, and we went to the show, and, we went, well, first we went to the show, he was at 10 o'clock, which, again, it's fucking freezing there. But we showed up early at like, was it like 8? There was a band at 8, and they were going to go on. Well, we got there at like 8:20, because she had a great idea. She's like, let's go. We went to the pavilion where he was playing, and then I was like, well, now we know where it is. She said, no, let's stay here. I said, why? She goes, well, we can get good seats and keep them for when Rick comes on. You can sit here and watch this band, and we'll be here. We'll have seats. So we actually got like 6th row, and we were sitting there, and the band before Rick was a band called the Trews, Trews. They were supposed to start at 8. We got there at 8:20. They were still fucking around with their sound. And it was just kind of depressing. Again, it was freezing cold, and they were trying to get monitors, and they were trying to listen to themselves, and you couldn't hear the microphone that was stage left. The lead guitarist was trying to talk into it, and we couldn't hear anything. And like then the mic stand got tipped over. Like it was so depressing to watch. It was like this garage band actually rehearsing in a garage and like there wasn't a crowd because every bad thing that could happen was happening. And finally, they just said, fuck it. They said, we're just going to play. And I asked Jill, I go, are these guys local? Because we would get a program that would say just the names of the bands. It didn't say anything about them. She's like, I never heard of these guys. So they started to play, and, they played their first song, and they were fucking amazing. The first song was really great. It was really great. I think it was Poor Pitiful Me, I think was the first song, or Waiting on Her, or Waiting for Me. I forget the name. And the whole crowd, and again, it was sparsely attended. There might have only been 100 people there to see the Trues, maybe 150. And 146 of them were there waiting for Rick Springfield. The 4 guys who wanted to see the Trues were sitting directly in front of me in row 5. And they knew the words, and they knew the fucking guitar licks, and they knew every drum beat. And dude, the second song started, and they were great. And the third song started, and they were fucking great. The Trues, Trews. And here's the best part, like in the second song, they had attitude. Like the singer's singing, and they're playing the opening of the song, and he goes, hey, monitor man, the in-ears suck, so I need more of my vocal right here in this monitor, right fucking now. And then he'd start singing a verse. So he'd sing the verse, and then they'd go into a guitar lick, and then when he would break, he would back up, and he'd go, monitor man, I'm not fucking joking. Lyrics now in this monitor because these in-ears are fucking dead. And then he'd start singing the next fucking verse. It was great because it was rock attitude wedged into the songs, which were great songs anyway. 4-part harmony. They sounded like, and look, you're going to then, when I say what they sounded like, you're going to go, oh, I would hate that, which is fine because that's you. But when you think about me and the kind of stuff that I like, dude, they were like 4-minute hardcore pop songs. They sounded like a harder Gin Blossoms. Like they had real good harmonies, and the songs were tight. And like I said, 4 minutes, 3.5 minute, 4-minute pop rock songs, and they were so good, dude. They were so good. And there's nothing better. There is nothing better than discovering music that you love. Like you're something new that you've never heard of, that you didn't even think was going to be good at all. I mean, we're there, and poor Jill is huddled over and shivering, and we're just trying to stay fucking warm. And I'm watching the Trues, and she actually got up and she went to use the restroom. And I was like, I'll go with you. And she's like, I'm fine, I can go. And I'm like, no, I'll go with you. She's like, I'm fine. And she went, because dudes, I'm crazy. I'm fucking crazy. Like, it's this weird, it's so funny. She and I have this thing where, like, I want to do everything for her, and she wants to be a person and just kind of do her stuff, but I can't fucking stop, like, trying to go, hey, I'll make you coffee. Hey, I'll do this, I'll do that, because I want to do things. Like I want to, and it's bad. This is what I'm kind of learning about myself. I have to let it go. I have to not throttle it. I can't strangle it. I pet it to death. I'm fucking Lenny from Of Mice and Men, and I got a rabbit in my pocket, and I'm just petting it and petting it and petting it, and eventually I will throttle the fucking life out of it. I've talked about it on the show here before. I have this show, and I love it, and I love doing it, and eventually I will kill it in its crib, because that's who I am as a person. And I'm trying not to be that guy. I'm like, hey, I'll go with you to the bathroom. She's like, I'm good. I'm okay. And so she can, why? Because she's a grown woman who can go to the goddamn bathroom, sit the fuck down and relax. Let her do her thing. So weird. I'm so weird. So she goes, and I watched the rest of the band. When she went, I Googled them, and I found their Wikipedia page. And like I said, I thought there was some local Milwaukee band. Dudes, these guys were nominated for Hard Rock Newcomer of the Year in Canada in 2003. They won Hard Rock Single of the Year in 2006 in Canada. They're like this big Canadian band, and they just happened to be playing Summerfest because they were on a tour of the Midwest. They played in Chicago with the Double Door the night before, and they just wound up at. I mean, I had no idea who the fuck they were, but when I Googled, I'm like, holy shit, these guys are somebody. They've opened for Guns N' Roses and the Rolling Stones in fucking Canada. They're big, and they were tight. They were so great on stage, and to see them not get any sort of feedback, because I will tell you this, the smart thing that they did was they just fucking pounded forward. They just pounded, song, and they'd say, this song is called this, bang, 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 and they'd fucking yell and just kill it, and they won people over. That was the great part, is eventually people started to clap for them because, you know, the whole fucking audience was filled with beef queens waiting for fucking Rick Springfield to show up. I mean, it was just like, and that was fine, which is good. I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean, I guess I sort of do, but I sort of don't. But I mean, it's just that there's that type. Rick draws a certain type of audience, and it's those people looking for their lost youth, and it's these people who are like, oh my God, I had him on my wall when I was a little girl, and 4 kids later, you go to the concert and go, wee, I loved him, and then you go home sad. So it's that, and I hate to sound like a terrible person, but I am probably. And those women, it was really kind of depressing because the band is killing it, and these women are taking selfies of themselves in the audience, you know, and I'm sure posting them on Facebook because only old people are on Facebook anymore, and they're writing, I'm Rick Springfield, yay! And it was so to watch the Trews be unappreciated was kind of a drag, and then they were almost done, like I figured, because they had just crushed it all the way through, and they were winning some people over, like about half the crowd was cheering for them and was really into them. But there was one guy in the front of the stage, and he was being a tool bag. I mean, he was just yelling at them, and every time they'd finish a song, he'd yell, try harder.
Wow.
I mean, and I was like, what? Dude, maybe once you do it because you think you're funny and you think, but he did it after every fucking song. And finally, their guitarist walks up to the microphone and he goes, hey, fuck you, try harder. And people clapped. We clapped. You know, the guys who were kind of in their corner. Because I gave him a standing ovation after a bunch of songs. They were so good. And he goes, yeah. And the guy tried to say something. He goes, no, fuck you. He goes, I have a microphone. You don't. Sit the fuck down and shut up. He goes, I'm here to play fucking music for people who want to hear it. And if you don't want to hear it, there's the fucking exits. And then the guy's like, oh, that's typical drunk loudmouth. Whoa. And he tried to say something. He goes, no, fuck you. He goes, you know what? Smallest dick in the crowd, biggest mouth in the crowd. It's not a surprise. And it was so funny. He said all of the heckler bullshit that you say in a comedy club. You know what I mean? Oh, I don't come to your work. And, you know, I mean, he just literally, he destroyed the guy, but it was all like that typical pedestrian destruction stuff but you know what? You have to do that because that's all a fucking drunk asshole will understand. And then as I was Googling them, I read about them, and it turns out that the lead guitarist and the lead singer are brothers. So like when he's yelling at the monitor guy and the lead guitarist is yelling at the dude in the audience, I'm like, these fucking guys just hate everything. They hate America. They hate us. So I created this whole backstory for them where they're like these Canadian separatists and they fucking want to go ahead and try to split away from North America, and they fucking hate us, but they only come down here because they need our money and they're going to use it to fucking wage a war on us eventually. And then I realized, well, they're probably just a band and they're probably just here to play a song and have a good time. But it sure was fun to make up a story about the fact that they were insurgents trying to go ahead and foster a Canadian-U.S. war. But then they played their last song and they killed it and they left. And then we were waiting for Rick. Oh, Rick. Rick. It's funny. I kept, it was like, it was quiet or just people saying it. And then I'd go, Rick! And I would yell it in the air. And Jill was next to me. And I just did it like occasionally. Not all the time, but I did it occasionally. And then she took a photo of me doing it and posted it on Facebook. So it's just me like yelling at this guy and you have no idea what I'm doing. But when you look at that picture, if you see it, I think it's on my Facebook timeline if you're on Facebook. And it's me going, Rick! Not really, having fun doing it. I wasn't really pining for his arrival as far as you know. But then he came out and Jill had gone with me to see him when he had done his solo show in Milwaukee. And he told stories and played by himself acoustically, and he had some accompaniment, but it was just him on stage. Well, this time it was with the band, and I told her, I said it would be different. And he's just fucking great. Like, I don't even... People would say, oh, guilty pleasure, or dude, no, he's great. He played like 4 songs off the last album, and they held up. He played hits. Dude, he covered Roar by Katy Perry. Like, he started to play it, and I'm like, no way. And then the crowd was singing it, he was singing, and he did it great. His version was fucking amazing. I'd love for him to release it. It was so good. He's so good! And people were standing on their chairs or on the benches, and I wouldn't because I'm fucking 6'2", so I'm not going to block somebody out. But it was worth it because Jill stood on the bench, and I felt terrible because it was freezing. By the time Rick got on, he even said it. He's wearing a leather coat. He's like, it is cold out here. But Jill loved it. That was my favorite part. Like, because I loved it, and I know I'm going to love it because I love him. But she even said to me, she goes, that was really fun. Like, because that was the thing. He wasn't Because the Trues, their music was fucking awesome, but at the same time, they were like miserable, and you could tell that they were miserable. They were miserable in the weather. They were miserable because of the fucking sound problems. They were miserable because the crowd didn't give a fuck about them, and they made it work. They used their anger and their aggression, and they made it work in their music, and it was fucking awesome. But Rick, people loved him the second he came on, and he was so fun. He was having fun. He did. It's so funny. I don't want to give it a spoiler alert, but whatever the fuck. He comes into the crowd. He jumps in. I've talked about it on here, I think, because I actually hugged him. I grabbed him and hugged him and took a photo with him. During Human Touch, he jumps out into the crowd, and he did it there. He was just amazing. And he did the new songs, and he did songs off of, the Karma album. I mean, it Shock, Denial, Anger, Acceptance. It was great. It was great. And then we were leaving, and Jill was, she was like, that was really fun. And I felt awesome because I want to like the things that she likes, just like I want her to like the things that I like. And I'll get to that. But we were walking out of the building, and he was on at 10, so he finished around 11:15. And then we had to go all the way across the Summerfest grounds and get to our shuttle bus to head back to where we had to be, because the shows and stuff are in Milwaukee, but Jill lives in a suburb. And rather than drive there, you can drive to a designated spot and then take a shuttle bus and let them do all the operating. And the great part about that is you don't have to deal with drunk drivers. The shitty part about that is you have to deal with drunk people, because you have to get on a bus with regular people. And let me tell you a little bit about buses, folks. Let's talk about buses for just a second. On this trip, I flew to Chicago. Sometimes the way I'll do it is I'll fly to Jill in Milwaukee. But a lot of the time, I've flown to Chicago, and then I take a bus from Chicago to Milwaukee for an extra $29, because it's cheaper for me to fly to Chicago. And in the beginning, last year, I think a few times in March or April, I flew to Chicago, and then Jill would pick me up, and we would drive back to Milwaukee together until she wrecked her car coming to get me. And I went, you're not making this drive anymore. I don't want you making this drive alone. So I said, I'll just take the bus. It's $29. And because I'd look at the price for a Milwaukee ticket, and then I look for the price for a Chicago with a bus trip. And now, and look, dudes, the only thing I like more than spending time with Jill or doing the show is going online and fucking figuring out airfare. It's like a puzzle, and I love going ahead and trying to figure out, and because I'll do one-way flight here and a one-way flight here, and there's a layover here, and the time, and I cut it close, and I love doing it. So for me, fuck, if you just give me dates, I'll go ahead and find the best fucking route, and dude, it's the greatest. So I got no problem with it. So I'll fly into Chicago. So this trip, but the thing is, I'd rather fly to Milwaukee because it saves me. I don't want to be on a bus. I don't want to be on a goddamn bus. Case in point. Flew to Chicago this time, and hopped on the bus, and we're driving, and I'm in the far back. I'll tell you this. The good news is about this bus, it's never crowded. I've taken it a handful of times, and I always get right on, and I get right into the back seat by myself, which is perfect, because then I can just sit back there and take selfies the entire time, which is what I wind up doing, because I am a fucking weirdo. Because earlier, before the show today, I was taking a picture to put up on Facebook, because I hadn't done a show in a while, so I was going to joke around and be like, what do I do on Wednesday? And as I was doing it, Lily took a photo of me taking a photo of myself, and she put it up, and she's like, dude, you guys should be here to see what an idiot Mike is. And then I saw the picture. Basically, it's what you said. No, and there was nothing wrong, because I was being an idiot. Because I did not write that. But you should have. Because, but then I went and looked at that photo, and I go, oh my God, I look terrible in that photo. And she goes, well, I'll take it down. And I go, no, you don't have to do that. I'm not that vain. And she goes, I took it down already. Shut up.
I don't think I said that either.
I think you might have. Do you really? All right. Well, you all right. She didn't say that. I mean, you're not really mad that I'm saying that you called me an idiot and told me to shut up. All right. Because, I mean, people know that you didn't say those things or do those things.
You look like I hate everyone.
Oh, no. I think you make it look like you hate everyone.
Do not. I post positive posts all the time.
At least for 100 days. I can't wait till the negative days show up.
Filled with positivity.
Oh, my Lord. You are so serious about that, too. Not sarcastic at all. Anyway.
Oh, my negativity days are going to be awesome.
Oh, I can't wait. So I was taking photos of myself to be silly today, and then I could not decide on one. And I literally took what did I take? 50 pictures?
At least.
I kept taking them and taking them and taking them. Then I made her take some. Then I took some. And finally she posted a photo of me taking a photo of myself. And I went, take that photo down. I look terrible in it. And then she took it down. And I'm like, you didn't really have to take it down. She goes, no, I don't know. I don't want to hear you talking shit. Fine, it's down. Because I'm weird. And again, because I mean, I'll go on Twitter and Facebook because you're in the back of the fucking bus. That's the thing is we all have we have life in our hands. We have life in a square in our hands. So the bus is not that terrible anymore as long as there's not some fucking mouth breather next to me. So we're driving, and I'm on the route into Milwaukee from Chicago, and then the bus makes a loud noise, like a kind of like bang, crank. And I thought we had run over a lawnmower. That's what it sounded like to me. Seems implausible, but who knows? About 5 minutes later, the bus pulls over. Driver gets up, doesn't say a word to anyone on the bus, but puts the flashers on and gets out. And proceeds to do a lap around the bus and kind of like look quizzically with his chin in his hands. And then goes around to the other side of the bus where I'm sitting, and he does the same thing, kind of stares and looks like he's assessing for damage. Then he does another lap, and he comes all the way around on the other side of the bus, and then now he opens up the bus engines. And look, I'm not click and fucking clack. I have no idea how many engines are in a bus. All I know is this guy kept opening up compartments and finding shit to check. And I don't know if it was engines, I don't know if it was wheels, I don't know if there were dogs under there, I don't know if he was feeding somebody. I have no fucking clue. I don't know if fucking Robert De Niro is clinging to the bottom of the bus on his way to Cape fucking Fear. I have no idea. All I know is this guy keeps opening doors and looking. And then finally, on the right side of the bus, he opens a door and he reaches in and I see him pull out a dipstick and he wipes it. And then he kind of looks at the level and then he puts it back in and he pulls it out and he looks at the level and then he puts it back in and he closes the door. Then he comes around to my side of the bus and he opens it up and guess what? Another dipstick, unbelievably, another dipstick on my side of the bus. And he pulls it out, he looks at the level, he wipes it off, and he puts it back in, and he checks the level, and he puts it back in, and he closes the engine. And then he comes back around, and he gets in the bus. And turns off the flashers and starts it and goes. But I should tell you this, when he's looking at dipsticks, he's walking around, I got to tell you this, I completely forgot. I have my earbuds in, okay? So when I see him stand up, he doesn't say anything, and he gets off the bus. And he does a lap, and he does another lap, and he does the lap, and he opens up the engine. And finally, people are kind of quizzically kind of looking around. And finally I go, what the fuck is going on? Of course you did. Because I'm in the back of the bus. I got my earbuds on. And I pull out one earbud. I go, what the fuck is going on? And this one dude just goes, I don't know. I go, well, what did he say? And he goes, he didn't say anything. And this woman goes, I don't know. I think he's checking the engine. I go, I can see he's checking the engine on both sides of the bus. But the guy didn't fucking say anything. Like he didn't say there's a problem or anything. He goes, nope. He put the flashers on and he pulled over. I go, is he going to fucking warn us? I mean, is it going to blow up? Does anybody care on the bus what the fuck is going on? Like, I'm panicked and I'm pissed because I just want to get to fucking Milwaukee. I got Rick Springfield ahead of me that night. And everybody just kind of, dude, people are sheep. And I don't mean the cool fucking leaping off of the mountain and butting your head sheep. Oh, dude, I didn't even finish that story.
Oh, my God.
We saw those sheep on the mountain, okay? And there's like 5 of them laying there with their big ram heads. And Jill and I are looking, and they look awesome because they're majestic looking. They're majestic looking animals. And their mountain enclosure looked cool, and they were all sitting there. There's like 4 or 5 of them. All of a sudden, around the mountain, he was coming around the mountain when he came, comes another bighorn sheep. And he's walking, dude, like a sheep boss. Totally like a sheep boss. He's just like fucking he's not worried about it at all. He just kind of tiptoes around the fucking mountain on his little hooves and he pokes his head around and it was gorgeous because of course I'm dumb and I did his voice because all 4 of the other sheep are laying there and he comes around the mountain and he goes, hey, you fellas over here? And he pokes his head around and he sees them and I went, oh, you jagoffs. I've been waiting on the other side of the mountain for like 35 minutes. And all the other sheep are like, ah, ha, 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 ha. They just laughed at him and he goes, you guys are dicks. And then he walked over and he laid down with the other sheep. I made up the whole fact that they played a joke on him because he came around and he totally peeked and he like looked at him. And he's just like, you could see he was mad and they were just like, aha, whatever. And he came over and he finally laid down with them. I had my own sheep puppet show. This is one of those moments I will say that probably you had to be there standing next to me when it happened.
I'm glad you
But it was fucking hysterical when I did it. Hey, fellas, what do we... Oh, you guys are up here now? I've been on the other side of the mountain for like 35 minutes. You guys are jerks. Put on a sheep show. So getting back to people are sheep, like nobody bothers to ask the driver what the fuck is going on. They just let him walk out and everybody's just sitting there taking it. Dudes, we need to fucking rally. Like somebody go turn the flashers off and drive off. We got shit to do. We got places to be. We got to go somewhere. I'll tell you what, the bus is also stopping at the Milwaukee airport. So a bunch of these people have flights that they have to fucking catch. So I don't know why the fuck you're sitting here all calm. Finally, the dude walks around and he gets back in the bus, turns out the flashers, and he drives off. He doesn't say a word. Doesn't tell us anything. Just drives. And it seems like everything's fine. The bus is running fine. There's no fire. Nothing exploded. It seems like we're great. So he stops at the fucking brat stop. We did not get any brats. He stops at another place because, dude, it's all like fucking cheese curds and brats and beer up there. And it's like, so they stop and they got to pick people up and drop people off, whatever the fuck. So finally, this bus, and again, that's why I hate the bus. Again, if there was a bus that just said Jill's house, I would get on it gladly. I wouldn't give a fuck because you know what? Then you're being chauffeured. Then it's like, hey, let's go to Jill's house and everybody drop me off and fine. And here's a couple of bucks for your trouble. But no, it's like, let's stop at the brat stop and let's pick up the great unwashed and let's find some more fucking poor people to hop on here and fucking stare at you and not question why we've pulled over on the side of the goddamn road because the vehicle that you had to pay $30 to ride pulled over and nobody wants to fucking tell you why. Why the English challenged fucking driver won't step up and go, oh, by the way, I'm going to check 47 dipsticks and then we're going to get moving. Fuck you. Tell me what's up. So he makes his stops and we're in the parking lot and I'm staring and I was going to take a picture of just then there was the Mars Cheese Castle. We drive by. I actually took pictures of the Mars Cheese Castle. Dude, I've been all over Wisconsin. I've been all over it. I have spread my hate far and wide all over America's Dairyland. From a car. Imagine doing it from a bus. Oh. So finally, he comes to the Milwaukee airport and he pulls over and the people who have to catch flights run. They like run off the bus and they grab their stuff. And then he puts on the flashers, turns the bus off and gets off. And I've taken this bus route before. This is not a scheduled stop. It's certainly not a turning the bus off stop. So finally, he walks off the bus and I'm sitting there and I get up and I walk to the front because other people are just sitting there and I walk out and I go, what is going on? He goes, bus is broken, man. I said, what? He goes, bus is broken. Waiting for a new bus. I said, when is it getting here? He goes, I don't know. Very soon. I said, when is very soon? He goes, what, you can call them? And I go, I will call them. I will call them right fucking now. I got to tell you, there's nothing more impotent than standing next to your broken down bus watching planes fly into the distance. Because all of them are escaping this hell. All of them are escaping this hell, and you're just sitting there watching steam rise. And it's not from the bus engine, it's from your fucking ears, because you can't understand why you can't get the fuck out of this predicament. So I call Wisconsin Coach Lines. And I get Marge Gunderson from Fargo, apparently, on the line. Yeah, hey there, what's going on there with the bus? I mean, like, fuck you, Wisconsin. I've got a question. And I said, I'm on a bus, it's broken down. I need to know where the other bus is. And I was very calm and I was very polite, but I'm sure I had bass in my voice. And she said, oh, yeah, that bus will be there very soon. I said, when is very soon? That's what the bus driver said. Well, that's what we told him. Great. You want to tell me exactly when it's going to be here? Well, did you have a flight to catch? Because we had to make sure we got to the airport to get the people on the flights, but we'll get you to the other place pretty soon. I go, when is the bus getting here? Well, it's at Layton Lane right now. Which I guess is an off-ramp or something, because she said it, she kept saying, and then finally she's like 5 minutes. And I walk outside and all the other people are just walking around on their phones, talking to their connections, to their people. And they just this lack of urgency with anybody, the driver, anyone, dude, get me the fuck out of here. I don't even want to. And I guess if you're on a bus, you've resigned yourself to your fate. I suppose you realize that life is passing you by anyway. So why should you care about getting anywhere in a hurry? But I just want to get the fuck off of there. That's it. So then I go to the driver. I go, they said it'll be here in 5 minutes. He's like, oh, good, because this bus broken. I'm like, yes, this bus is broken, Latka. And sure enough, so I walk over and I tell the other passengers, and it starts to rain on us. Like, I mean, it was just Jesus pissing in my face. It was so fucking terrible. But bus shows up in like 6 minutes. We climb on that. We start driving. I get to the fucking drop, and then Jill picked me up, and I was just staring, catatonic. So that's my history with buses on that trip already. So now, Jill and I had taken a shuttle bus to the actual show, and we were the only people on it in the beginning. So that was fun. Literally, it was the two of us heading off to Summerfest. Yay! And then we had to stop at Target and grab a bunch of other people. But that was fine. I didn't mind that. The first half of the ride was fantastic because it's just me and Jill. So now we got to go home. Well, the show ended, like I said, around 11:15. And that's when a lot of the big concerts were ending, 11:15, 11:30. Which means Summerfest is ending around 12 and the last buses run at 1, which means everybody is exiting the park. So as we're walking, we're getting caught in the crush of people. And I'm trying to be better, folks. I'm trying to be a better guy. I'm trying not to let things bother me. I'm trying not to get upset. You know, this is the guy who 30 seconds ago was yelling about a fucking bus. And here's a reason why. You know, because I have a really unhealthy amount of rage and anger, and I bury it, you know, and then unfortunately it comes out at really inopportune times, and I wind up trying to punch a street sign or beating up a car on the freeway. I mean, it's just silliness, and it's something I need to fix. It's something I need to stop. And you know what the thing is? It's not even like I have to do it for anybody. I just have to fucking stop doing it because it's stupid. It's dumb. Why would you act like that? Why would you? And I've done it too long. I'm 46. It's time to pay the fucking check. Because I've scared Jill. I mean, and this makes me laugh. Jill is with me and she loves me and we're together. Jill does not like anger. Jill doesn't like rage. It scares her. Like, she's not a fan of it. And I laugh when I think about it because I'm like, why the fuck are you even standing next to me anywhere? And why is that even happening? Because you know who I am. You've listened for long and you know who I am as a guy. Like, she's seen me throw shit. Like, I threw something across a fucking hotel lobby once. Dude, another time we went to a restaurant, and it's just ridiculous. We went to a restaurant and we went to order food, and it's that thing again where I try to do things for her, and you don't. There's no reason to do this. I brought her to a restaurant. I'm like, and again, this is innocuous, but I was like, oh, I like this, and I said I'd like you to try it, and she's like, oh, okay. And I said, well, would you want me to get this particular thing? And she goes, well, I'll be honest with you, I don't really like that. And I said, okay, we'll get something else. Well, she goes, no, if you like it, I'll try it. And I go, no, it's okay. We'll get something different. And she's like, no, it's fine. I want to try it. If you like it, I can go ahead and do that. And I went, no. And I should have listened to her. I should have just let her. But instead, I'm so bent on pleasing somebody. I'm so bent on doing what I consider to be the right thing, or just doing. I'm trying to be selfless, but it's just a stupid kind of selfless. And these are the things I'm learning about myself. You have to just let people be people. Quit trying to force and insinuate yourself on them. If she doesn't want to do it or she wants to do it, let her do it. What the fuck are you trying to do? Why are you trying to control it? That makes no sense. Doesn't stop me from doing it. I still fucking do it all the time. And thank God she loves me and she's willing to look at me and just go, okay. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So we're in this restaurant and I asked her, this is chicken dumplings. It was chicken dumplings. And I'm like, hey, you should try these. It's like pot stickers and you'd really like them. And she's like, well, I got to be honest. I don't really like chicken dumplings. I go, great. There's another thing on here that's really good. And she's like, well, no, but I'll try them because you like them. Because that's another thing. We've gone to sushi and she's tried unagi. She's tried fucking, she didn't like the live sweet shrimp very much, but she anything I get, she's a yes. That's what I fucking love about her. She's a goddamn yes. And she's willing to go along with it. So when she said she would try them, instead I just tried to please her. And I'm like, no, it's okay. We don't have to do it. And then that freaks her out because then it looks like I'm sacrificing something I want. And then it's just this weird fucking mess. And because I won't let it go. I don't let it go. And she's patient and she sits there and she deals with my crazy. And I'm like, I can get this. I can do this. So finally the waiter comes. And I said, you know what? We're going to get this. And I ordered the different dish. And then the waiter goes, okay, great. And he writes it down and I handed him the menus. And then as he's walking away, she goes, and we'll take the chicken dumplings. And he goes, oh, okay. And I go, with Penang sauce. And he writes it down. And I still had a menu in my hand. And I threw the menu. Sitting at the dinner table with her, I flipped it in the fucking air. I go, you just wasted $10. And I threw it in the air. And When I did Never Not Funny, I was talking with Jimmy and Matt one time, and I mentioned that I was an easygoing guy. And Jimmy Pardo laughed. Like, he couldn't stop laughing. And he was like, you are the least easygoing person I've ever met in my life. And in the ensuing meetings that we had, when it turned out that it really wasn't going very well with the show, and they were going to tell me that, well, at least Jimmy was going to tell me that he wanted me to leave, I was told that I was a human black cloud. Like, I would walk in and I could fucking change a room with my attitude. And it was when we were playing poker or whether we were doing the podcast or anywhere. I would come in and it's because I'm big and I can get moody and I can get angry and I can let that permeate and I can take over a fucking room just with a look. And I know that about myself. And if I can do it to a room full of fucking men, how do you think my just learning to find out about me girlfriend feels about it when she's in Los Angeles and doesn't know anybody and she's got me. She's got me. That's who she's with. And so when I fucking throw a menu in the air and I go, you just wasted $10. She started to cry. Because I scared the shit out of her. Because again, the black cloud showed up and Mike showed up. I've said that on here before. Mike showed up. But I don't want that to be the case anymore. I don't want Mike showing up to be a bad thing. I want people to want Mike around. So she got sad, and then I tried to spin out of it, and then I fucking was silent, which was worse. It had been a fantastic day and a great night, and I fucking threw a wet blanket on the whole goddamn thing. I just cut its throat. But thankfully, she gives me enough rope and we got through it. Because I'm scary. I don't want to be. I'm trying not to be. But I can be. So we're leaving Summerfest. And thankfully we didn't have any chicken dumplings. So there was no fight at the Rick Springfield show. But I'm walking in this huge crowd of people. And it's just this weird... it's that baby steps, and we're all just crushed together, and people are next to me, and they're smoking right in my face, and it's kids, and they're drunk, and they're pushing, and they're laughing, and it's that thing where if you let it bother you, it will. And what you want to do is just tornado out and just start spinning your arms around and hitting everybody to make room for yourself and just give yourself a fucking cushion so you're not being swallowed up by this mass of fucking terrible humanity. I think we've all felt that when you're in a crowd and you just want air, you just want to breathe. And also, I've had a thing since I was a kid about protecting. And I think I've talked about that on here. And I want to protect Jill from anything that's going to happen. I don't want anybody to bump into her. I literally, if I could lift her over my head and hold her above the crowd, I would, which is stupid. She's a grown woman. She can take care of herself. She's fine. But it's my trigger where I want to protect her from any sort of harm. So we're walking, and I've got my head on a swivel to see if anybody bumps into her or if anything happens or if anybody bumps into me. And the crowd starts to thin out a little bit, and then Jill takes me by the hand, and she, because she's tiny, she starts to burrow like a fucking person in a maze. She just kind of zips in and out of everybody, and it was amazing. We like cut through all these people, and we start going, and I'm following her, and she even looks at me and laughs, and she goes, I can't believe you can keep up with me. And I'm like, this is awesome. Let's do this. So I just followed her all the way through as we zigzagged through everybody to get to our bus. So we were in the farthest bus at the end, and we go and we stand in line. Well, first we got to the bus, and it was full. There was a packed house in this bus. And we could have gotten on it probably, but we went, nah, we'll wait, because you have to stand. It was like a 45-minute ride to where we were going. So we get in line, and there's a group of people ahead of us, a group of kids. There's only like 8 people, so we know we're going to get seats. And more people start to come and join the group ahead of us. Like, these kids got there and decided to save spots for all of their friends. And I was like, I go, Jill, these people are cutting in line. She goes, it's okay, honey. And I go, I know, but, I got to make sure that we get seats because I'm not going to have you standing up the entire ride. She goes, it's fine. We're okay. I was like, all right. But it just sets me off. And I'm sitting there and I'm waiting. And it's also, in addition to having the protection thing, I have a disrespect thing. Where people just assume that they can do whatever the fuck they want, and I'm just going to sit by and let them do it. Don't like it. Not a fan. There's a lot of things I don't like, folks. There's a lot of things that are triggers for me and a lot of things that make me act out. But I'm trying not to act out. I'm trying not to be that person. I'm trying not to get out of my car in a parking garage and tell a guy to get back in his fucking car. Like, I'm trying not to be that guy. Although I didn't get out of my car that day. See, I'm improving even then. So we let some of the kids cut, and I said to Jill, I'm like, I don't know how many more. And she's like, relax, it's okay. We're going to get home. It's fine. I love you. And I'm like, okay. And finally, 2 kids walk up just as the bus is pulling up to let us on. And these 2 kids just get right in front of us. And the kid is about my height. He's got a head full of blonde hair. He's got a privileged face. He's got a pink shirt on, button shirt, topsiders. And he's every asshole who I ever knew who went to Joliet Catholic when I was a kid. And that will be literally, Max is the only guy who's going to know what I mean by that. Like there was, we went to Bolingbrook High and we hung out with the Bolingbrook High people, and then you'd go to parties and you have to mix with the Joliet Catholic guys who were rich and went to a Catholic school because it was a private tuition. And they were just fucking, they wore cologne in high school. Those idiots. Those fucking dudes whose dad would pay for a keg, and it was like Pete Murray and those fucking jagoffs. It was like all those guys.
Did you name them off?
I don't give a fuck. Jim and John Burns. I don't give. And again, I'm sure I'd like them now. I'm sure they're all very wonderful people. But at the time, all I wanted to do was fucking run through them all with razor blades on my elbows. That's all I wanted to fucking do. I wanted to leave a pile of Catholic blood all over the goddamn place. Just paint the fucking walls. Because you would go to these parties and they were just jagoffs. I almost fought Pete Murray a couple of times. You know what I mean? He was just a fucking stroke. And then, like I said, Jim and John Burns and all these dudes from Catholic. Some guys from Catholic were cool. I won't name them. So anyway, Jesus. So this kid looked like everything I hated in high school, literally. And so I decided, you know what? That's it. I've let like 9 kids cut in front of me, and it's not going to get into double figures. So he cut in front of me with his friend, and he's talking to his buddies, and I look at him and I go, hey. And he looks at me and I go, back of the lines at the end. And he goes, yeah, I know, but these are my friends. I said, I understand. I go, but they were here before you, and they don't get to hold a line spot for everybody, so we'll all get on the bus, just back of the line. And Jill's not really noticing. She's just next to me. And he looks at me, and he's staring at me, and I'm staring at him. And he's staring at me, and I'm staring at him. And he leans forward, and he goes, Dick! Right in my face. Now. Old Mike would have punched this kid in the throat. And I mean without hesitation, because it would have taught him that you don't talk that way to men. And I'm not, because I'm not kidding you. He leaned forward and he said, Dick, in my face, and I smelled his cologne go under my nose. And 3 things flashed through my head. Punch this motherfucker in the throat and watch him cough up fucking spit and whatever else comes out as I laugh at him. 2, grab him by the lapels of his fucking button shirt and kick out his legs and land on top of him with a fist cocked and go, say it again, say it again, say it again. Or, just fucking trip him and land on top of him and put my fucking forearm into his throat and go, say it now, say it now. Like literally all 3 of those went through I wanted to murder him, because you know what? Until somebody does, he'll do that shit his whole life. So I wanted him dead. I wanted him dead in front of his friends. I wanted them to see it. I wanted everybody to fucking watch it, because you don't fucking get to lean in and call me a dick. Who the fuck do you think you are? You didn't know who the fuck I am. And you're going to lean in and talk shit to me? Because I'll tell you what, I could be fucking dangerous, really dangerous, or I could just be mean, or I could just be Mike. And you don't want fucking Mike to show up outside the goddamn bus. And all of this flashed through my head as he leaned in and he said that to me. And if he would have challenged me, literally one more second, I probably would have thought about it even harder. Because I got to be honest, normally his ass would have been dead as fucking fried chicken, but he happened to pull that shit while I'm in a transitional period, so I didn't want to kill him. I wanted to help him. And he looked at me and he said, Dick, and he leaned there and he let it hang in the air and he kind of looked, and I was waiting for him to make a move or do anything. And I just went, take care of yourself. And he walked away to the back of the line. Jill didn't even hear it or see it. She didn't see any of it. Which I was bummed about because I wanted her to be proud of me that I was able to just not do it.
Not kill someone.
But at the same time, I wanted her to be angry that I didn't kill someone. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's what a caveman does. I should have just killed the motherfucker and let fucking everything else get sorted out later. So he walked away, and I looked at Jill and I go, did you see that? And she said, what? I go, you didn't just see that? And I go, she goes, no. I said, you saw the blonde kid in the pink shirt? She goes, yeah. I said, he cut in line, and I told him he couldn't cut in line, and he called me a dick to my face. She goes, her face, I mean, dude, her face just changed, like, looked at me, and then she smiled, and she goes, calm down, honey. I go, I'm calm. I'm just telling you what happened. She goes, well, it's okay. It's over now. Like, where did he go? And I go, he went to the back of the line. And she goes, see, all right, it's okay. It's over. And I go, I'm okay. I'm just letting you know what happened. She goes, well, you shouldn't get mad. Don't get mad about it. And it's so funny because it dawns on me. I don't know if she just, I mean, I'm changing. I'm trying to change. And does she think that she needs a cattle prod to control me everywhere we go? Like, is that going to be the norm where no matter what happens, she's going to look at me and just be like, dude, you, and just fucking zap me. And I'm supposed to calm down? But she kept saying, calm down. And I kept going, I am calm. But the thing is, the guy leaned in and he called me a dick. And I tell you what I wanted to do. And she goes, it's okay. And what was funny, as I'm talking to her and we're going, I realized that she's right. She keeps saying calm down because every time she says calm down, I go, I am calm. But the thing is, I really wanted to fucking hit that guy in the face. And she's like, calm down. And I'm like, I am calm. It's fine. I go, honey, he went to the back of the line. But the thing that you don't understand is I wanted to kick his legs out from under him and land on top of him and fucking get right in his face and go, hey, man, say it again. And she's like, you got to relax. And I go, I'm relaxed. But what I'm telling you is, and I kept coming up with more and more horrible, ludicrous scenarios. And I'm like, no, but you don't understand. The thing is, I'm calm. I'm great. But I wanted to put his head under the bus wheels and watch it explode like a goddamn fucking cantaloupe. And she's like, relax. We get on the bus, we sit down, and I go, he's got to get on the bus. He's going to have to walk right past me. And she goes, calm down. And I'm like, I'm not mean. She's the mic whisperer. She's just like, dude, honey, it's okay. Calm down. It's okay. And I go, I'm calm. But he's going to have to walk right past me. I'll see if he takes a poke at me. And she goes, he's not going to hit you. She goes, it's okay. Relax. And I go, well, I want to see if he walks by. And because old habits die fucking hard. They die hard because I let him go and I let him walk away and I said, take care of yourself. But at the same time, I stood there fucking vibrating because I wanted to hit him to teach him a lesson, just to go, you can't fucking do that. You can't do that. And you especially can't do that to me. Don't you know who I am? Look at how petrified my girlfriend is of me. Aren't you fucking realizing how dangerous I am? He gets on the bus. And I steeled myself for it. I was waiting for him to hit me in the face or do something as he walked by. And I had the fight in my head. I knew exactly what I was going to do to him. I knew exactly what I was going to do. A small joint lock, break his fucking index finger, and then climb on top of him and put a chicken wing on him and just bang his face into the bus floor until somebody dragged me off him. Like, I knew what I was going to do. If he hit me, I would have stood up and I would have kicked him in the back of the knee and his leg would have bent and he would have fucking gone down and I would have grabbed him by the hair and I would have smashed his face into the fucking strap holder, the fucking pole, and just banged it and banged it and banged it until his friends pulled me off of him or fucking got involved, and then I would just fucking fight my way through them until I passed out. Like, I mean, I had this fight in my head. I knew what I was going to do. And he got on the bus and he walked by and he didn't even fucking look at me. And I thought of my favorite story, which I've told on here before. James Hetfield from Metallica sitting in a restaurant. Guy in a car staring at him. And Hetfield's like, why the fuck is this guy staring at me? Why you want to fucking stare at me? And Hetfield's eating his breakfast and he can't even eat. He's so fucking mad at the guy and he's pissed and he's furious and he fucking sits there for 45 minutes and finally he goes, fuck this, I'm going to fucking kill this guy. And he walks outside and the guy's asleep in his car. And Hetfield goes, man, I wasted all my hate on that guy. That's what I did on the bus. Joe was telling me to calm down and I just saw an amazing show. I saw Rick Springfield. I discovered the truths. I had a fantastic night. I'm with the woman I love. We're going back home. Sex bear trap on deck. And all I can think about is killing this kid. Like, really, like I wanted to just fucking just dive in. And I'm sitting there and he walks by and he doesn't do anything and I kind of smirked to myself. And Jill's with me and she's like, are you all right? I said, I'm okay. She goes, I love you. I said, I know, I love you. I love you. And then we talked about the show and the bus started and we drove and And at one point I was sitting there, and the whole time, I will be honest with you, I was bracing for somebody to hit me in the back of the head. I was just waiting, because he had to sit behind me, and I didn't want him behind me, but he got behind me. So I was talking to Jill, and it was pleasant, and we were talking about the show, and we were reminiscing and having a good time, but the whole time the buzz was still in my head. And at one point, the conversation lulled, and she looked out the window to see the street sign, to see where we were. And I kind of smirked, and I looked away. And she goes, "You're thinking about that kid, aren't you?" I said, "I'm not." She goes, "You are?" And I go, "I'm not, I promise." I go, "I'm thinking about the show and how great it was, and we had a good time." And so we talked some more. And then there was another beat, and I went, "Yeah, I was thinking about that kid." And she goes, "I knew it. I knew it. You have to stop that, honey." And I go, I know. I love you." She's like, "I love you." And everything was fine. He never hit me. Nothing happened. And I got through it. It's hard, man. It's hard changing and fixing who you are. At 46, if I would have done this shit when I was 22, I probably would get a head start on it, and maybe I wouldn't have come to a point where I spent half of a bus ride thinking about how I was going to hurt another passenger on the bus. But, I would only do it if he hit me first. It's not like I was going to attack the guy. I'm not a lunatic, folks. But I was happy that Jill was able to hold my hand through it, and she was there, and she was able to see that I thought about it, but I didn't do anything. And I felt so weird feeling proud of the fact that I didn't hit a guy. But I was proud of the fact that I didn't hit a guy. That was kind of cool. That's much cooler than hitting a guy. I have to be honest with you, folks. Not hitting a guy, much cooler than hitting a guy. Because if you don't hit a guy, nothing bad happens. You hit a guy, a ton of bad shit happens. Take it from a guy who's hit a lot of guys. And stuff. Don't ever hit stuff. I've hit a lot of stuff. Nothing good comes when you hit stuff. I got scarred up knuckles and scarred up elbows from throwing fucking hands and fists and arms and everything at concrete walls, and it's just for what? For what? To fight the battle that's churning inside of me? To quell the storm front that's rising to the fucking top of my head? I just fucking, you know what? Just clear the skies. Trying to get rid of it. I'm trying. I don't know if I can, but I'm trying, and I succeeded the other night. So I was in Milwaukee, and Thursday we wound up going to a nice dinner. And it's funny, I've been with Jill. She's come here, and I've gone there, and I actually hooked up her XM radio for her while I was in town, because she listened to XM in my car. And she wound up, she was fascinated by it. And I didn't know this. Jill's like a little metalhead. Like I didn't realize. She because I asked her favorite band, and she liked the Scorpions. And I was like, oh my God, what? Because I thought she just liked country music. I thought that was her deal. But she likes the Scorpions, and she likes AC/DC and Rush. Those are like her three favorite bands. I'm like, you like all of the non-chick bands. How the fuck did that happen? That makes no sense. But she knows the words to songs by the Scorpions and AC/DC and Rush. Like, she knows the words. So I'm constantly being surprised and finding things out. But at the same time, she does like country music, and she loves Brad Paisley. That's like her favorite guy. So when I was coming to town, I knew Rick Springfield was there Wednesday, and I knew Brad Paisley was at Summerfest on Friday. Now, we had talked about her coming out here to Irvine, and I talked a little bit about Brad Paisley on the show a couple of months ago, because Jill was like, dude, I totally like Brad Paisley. And then I listened to him, and I was like, ha, that's ridiculous. Because it's just so crazy. It's just, I'm going to check it for ticks. It's just like weird, like country music. I didn't get it. I don't get it. That's the thing, is I did not get it. So she was in my car, and on XM, there's a channel that's like channel 59, and it's called The Highway. And it's all fucking country music. So she got in the car with me. This is like 2 months ago. And I turned it on, and I was like, here, so you can feel at home. I put on the country music for you. And it would play, and every song would play, and I would make fun of it the second it started, because it was always just this bullshit of like, I'm sitting by a raft by the water, and there's a girl, and she's tan, and I love her, and everything's fucking great. It was like just so stupid. Oh, my dog is in my truck, and I love my truck and my dog, and sometimes I let my dog drive my truck, and we're on the street, and we go ahead and we'll see him and go to a bar. It's like that, really ridiculous. So over the course of a few days, we're hearing songs, and we're hearing them repeat. And I told her, I go, all of these songs, this is just it's ridiculous music because it's they keep singing about the same thing over and over, and every song is the same. Every song is exactly the same. They're selling you this period of time. They're selling you fun. That's all that they're fucking selling, but it's all nonsense. It's all trucks and cars and bullshit and girls, and I'm listening to it and I'm laughing, and every time a song would come on, I would make fun of it. So there was this song and it popped on. It was a song by a guy named Chris Young, and it said and the song was called Tomorrow. And because my XM tells me the song and who sings it. So I looked at it and I looked at her and I go, I guarantee you this song is about a guy who's going to be leaving tomorrow, but he's got his girl for one more night and it's going to be the best night of their lives. And he starts singing and he's like, tomorrow I'm going to leave here. I'm going to let you go and walk away. Like I said, tomorrow I'm going to listen to that voice in my head, but tonight I'm going to love you. And I'm like, yes, God damn it. And she looks at me, she goes, I can't believe you knew that. I go, I called it. I fucking called it. Yes. And she's like, this is terrible. Like, I'll never listen to country music the same way again. And I go, exactly, because it's all the same. It's ridiculous. And it kept coming on, and every song that would come on, I would laugh at and I would make fun of. And she was just like, I can't believe you're doing this. And then I will tell you what, I didn't do it to Brad Paisley. Okay. Because that's her guy. And also, you know what? That guy can play fucking guitar. Because I would listen to the songs, so I would let those play, and I wouldn't make fun of it. The lyrics are a little, there's a song about going to the riverbank and the Tick song, and like, good for Brad, and that's fine for him. He's a millionaire and he's made it work. It's just fucking weird. I'll check you for ticks. The song, I talked about it on here on the show. I want to check you for ticks. Yeah. So he's got that song, he's got the riverbank, but he's got another song called Water, which is kind of okay. And I was like, I kind of like this song. It's okay. And then there's the song that he did with Carrie Underwood, and that's kind of the song for me and Jill. It's called Remind Me, and it's her ringtone on her phone for me. So I gave Brad a day in court, and I'm like, well, I guess I can kind of deal with this. But then the other bands, dude, it's just like you hear it, this relentless Brantley Gilbert and these other dudes, and so the songs are about trucks and dogs and fucking beer and a fire outside and and I said, I go, there's like a code. Like, they all have to write the same thing. They all have it's like a dog whistle in every song is something about a truck or a tailgate or they're partying at the lake. Like, everything is exactly the same. So then this song comes on, and it's by a guy named Eric Paslay, I think, or Paslay, and it said Song About a Girl. And I said, and it's like, whenever the titles would come up, I'd go, of course it is. Like, I was just being a jagoff. I was. So it came up and it was Song About a Girl. And here's the lyrics. It says, this ain't about tailgates, ain't about bonfires, ain't about souped up cars and water towers, drowning in a bottle of Jack. This ain't about Chevys. It ain't about money. It ain't about blue suede shoes. Got nothing to do with that. And I heard that verse and I went, this guy is like the Buddha of country music. Because he used all of the dog whistles, but he said the song isn't about the dog whistles. So he gets all of the benefits of saying tailgates and bonfires and fucking beer and Chevys, but then he says it's not about that, it's about a girl. And then the chorus is about a girl because they all talk about girls anyway. And I was like, Eric Paslay is a fucking genius. This country song is the Jedi mind trick of fucking country songs. This ain't about hometowns, ain't about back roads, ain't about shoulda, coulda, ain't about rear views looking back, it ain't about goodbyes and comebacks. It's about a girl. Dude, it's the same fucking thing. Dog whistles, he used them for his benefit, but he told you it wasn't about that, but it really was about that. It brought you in. It roped you right the fuck in, country fans. How do you fall for Eric Paslay? Kick him out of the country brigade. He's making fun of you, folks. Ain't about tailgates, ain't about bonfires. It's totally about tailgates. It's totally about bonfires. So I'm listening to the music, and I'm making fun of it. And she's just like, I can't listen to country music anymore. I can't. You've ruined it. It's ridiculous. And it's ridiculous. So we're listening to it over the course of 2 days. And I hear one song, and it's a song called Play It Again by Luke Bryan. And again, it starts out, she was sitting all alone on the tailgate, tan legs swinging on a Georgia plate. I was looking for a boyfriend, thinking, no way, she ain't got one. As soon as I sat down, I was falling in love, trying to pour a little sugar in her Dixie cup. Talking over the speakers in the back of that truck, she jumped up and cut me off. She was like, oh my God, this is my song. And I kept listening to it, and I was laughing, and I kept making fun of it every time we heard it. We heard it like probably 10 times over the course of 2 days. And then I took her to the airport. And I tell you what, I kept listening to it. Like whenever it would play, I would make fun of it, and it was silly. And I was like, oh my God, a tailgate in the Georgia plate. And it was all about the fact that he met this girl, and then he drives her home, and he's like, before I walked her to the door, I was scanning like a fool, AM, FM, XM2, trying to find the song, and then it comes on, and then she's like, oh my God, this is my song. I would listen to the radio all night long, and she can't believe that it came back on, and then Come Here Boy, I Want to Dance. Before I knew what was going on, she took my hand, and spinning me around, she gave me a kiss, and she said, play it again, play it again, play it again. And like I said, I was making fun of it because it's just corn. It is absolute bowls of corn syrup. It is just straight up sugar and corn. So I take her to the airport. It was, like I said, like 2 months ago. I drop her off, and I get in the car, and I turn on the radio, and it just happened to be stuck on the highway. And I was about to change it, and Play It Again by Luke Bryan came on. And I had heard it, like I said, about 10 times in a couple of days with her, and made fun of it and teased and joked about it the whole time. And it started to play. And fuck me, I love it. I love it. I love it. I am giving myself over. I don't care. I don't care. I loved it. Because you know what happened? It started to play, and of course I thought of her, and I knew the words. I had made fun of it so much, like over the course of 2 days, I knew the words, and I started singing it. Like I was singing it because it has big choruses, and it has this whole, and it dawned on me, I'm like, I got it. In a second, I got country music. New country music, certainly not old country music, because old country music was sad. My dog left, and he took my wife, and whatever the fuck, and they left in my fucking train, or whatever that happened. I don't know. Good for them. Everybody's gone, and he's sad, and he's alone. Hank Williams Jr. was a sad motherfucker. Hank Williams was totally sad. Those guys were bummed. The only thing they had left was a hat and a guitar, and that's what they sang about. Fuck them. But now, these dudes, they're selling, you know what? They're selling moments. Country music sells you moments, and all it is people who work in a factory or people who work in an office building, all they want to do is go have a beer and meet a girl by the fucking pool and kiss her under the moonlight, and that's what these songs, every one of these songs is about that. They're all about that. Dude, if Journey was around today, they'd be making country music. I'm not kidding. I'm being completely honest. It is. I told Pat that the other day, and he looked at me and he laughed, and I go, I'm serious. Listen to the words. I go, because, there's hip hop and rap and that sort of stuff now, and it's not, there's no real love songs and stuff anymore on radio, and it's all kind of about beats and stuff like that. When you listen to these country songs, they're all huge choruses. They're all, and like I said, it gets right to human experience. And I know that sounds ridiculous, and you're all going to make fun of me, and I look like a fucking idiot. And I get it. Some of it works. Like there was a song by a guy named Eric Church called Cold One. Jill and I heard that, and and I even said this, and this is listen how hipster stupid this was. We listened to it, and I looked at her and I go, well, at least this song was sonically interesting. I thought I was judging. Like I was the fucking Lester Bangs judging country music in my goddamn Murano. At least that song was sonically interesting. But I'll tell you what, the more I listen to it, I love that fucking song. It was a great song. There's a song that came on by a band called Love and Theft. It was called Night That You'll Never Forget. I heard it twice. I knew the words. I knew the fucking words. You look up and it's 2 a.m. You're still sipping whatever they're pouring. You got your shades on. You got your drink up like you're a VIP in the nightclub. You kissed a girl and she told you her secrets. She's so hot you still can't believe it's true. It ain't over yet. It's going to be hard to remember. Night that you'll never forget. God damn it. Journey would have written that. That's no different than Any Way You Want It. That's the way you need it. Any way you want it. Country music sells moments. It just sells experience and moments and corn. Huge heaps of corn. And it makes you want to have a beer and forget yourself and think about going to meet a girl at the fucking pool. I mean, seriously, that's all it is. It sells moments. So I knew I was taking Jill to Brad Paisley. I knew. And not just for her. I wanted to see him because, oh my God, he's great. I had listened to some of his stuff and I actually came around. And look, I was bringing her. That was the main thing. She was coming to the show, and I wanted to see her face watching that show. That's the whole, because again, I love to do things. I mean, I want to make her happy. So she had talked to me about going to the show, and she said, you know, they do a thing where they give away free wristbands and hand stamps if you're going to go to a concert there. You just have to get to the show, or you have to get to Summerfest grounds when the gates open at like noon, and you'll get your wristband and hand stamp, and then you can come back later and go on the lawn seats for free. So I said, okay, that's great. That's going to be totally cool. But what I didn't tell her was there was no way I was letting her have lawn seats to Brad Paisley. This is her guy. I wanted to go and like I said, I had talked about her coming here to see him in Irvine, but it worked out better that we were going to see him there. And so I went online and I bought 12th row tickets for the show. And I didn't tell her. I kept it to myself. Because if there's two things you guys know, you know that I love surprises. And I think you may know by now that Jill hates surprises. But my love of surprises certainly is more important than that, right? Right? Isn't it? So we went to go to the show on Friday, and it's so funny. I should say this: we went to Summerfest on Wednesday, and we went to the box office to ask questions about wristbands and hand stamps. Now, keep in mind, I already knew I had tickets, so I didn't care. So she walks up and she's like, "Hey, what time are the Brad Paisley hand stamps and wristbands?" And the woman just shook her head. And Jill goes, "No," and she goes, "Nope, we're not doing that this year. We're only doing it for one show." And Jill's like, "Oh no," and I was like, "Oh, that's awful," because I mean, I knew I already had tickets, so it didn't matter to me. And then we walked away, and Jill goes, "Oh, I really wanted to do that. We would have been, the lawn seats." And I go, we can still go. I said, "We're still going." And she goes, "All right, well, yeah, we can probably find some lawn seats or something." I said, "Yeah." I said, "You know what? We'll take a look. We'll look for lawn seats." And she's like, "Oh, okay. Well, yeah, all right. That'll be fun. We'll come down anyway." And I said, "Yeah, it'll be fun. Hopefully it'll be warmer by then." And then we went and sat in an igloo and watched Rick Springfield. So like I said, Thursday we went out, and then Friday Brad Paisley Day came. And we didn't have to, the good news is we didn't have to go down early, because I thought we were going to have to go early to pick up the wristbands and stuff. But I told her, I said, don't worry about it. So then Friday at the house, she said, "Hey, we got to look into getting tickets." Well, all right, let's do this. On Wednesday, when they told us there were no wristbands and hand stamps, we were walking away, and I said, "Hey, do you have a printer at your house?" And she goes, "Oh, it's not hooked up yet." I said, "Oh, okay." And she goes, "Why? Why do you need a printer?" I go, "Probably for some work stuff tonight, for the show, because the show goes up, so I like to print stuff out," which is a complete lie. I wanted it to print out the Brad Paisley tickets. But I also didn't want to tell her that I had the tickets yet. I wanted to be a surprise guy. So then I wound up talking to her later, and I couldn't. I wasn't going to just, I just told her flat out, I go, "Look, we're going to Brad Paisley." And she's like, "Oh my gosh." And I go, "That's why I wanted to have a printer, because I wanted to print out tickets." And she's like, "Well, you told me you needed that for work." I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, why didn't you tell me you wanted to print out tickets?" I go, "Because I wanted to surprise you. I wanted to surprise you with tickets." She goes, "Yeah, but that's weird. Why wouldn't you just tell me?" And I go, "Because I wanted to surprise you. Because it's so fucking, I don't get it. Because I want to surprise her, but she does not want to be surprised at all. Like, she literally wants no surprises. And all I do is continue to try to surprise her. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Stop doing it. I have to stop. I have to, because I'll tell you what, though, it's really hard. It's so hard, because the only thing I like doing more than surprising somebody is punching a pink-shirted kid in the face. Trying to quit both at the same time? What the fuck? My life is out of control. It's spinning out of control. Trying to control it is making it spin out of control. So we go Friday. We print the tickets at the library. We go to Summerfest. And I'll tell you this, it was supposed to be freezing cold. Oh, and dude, wait. We're going to go to Brad Paisley. And so she's like, "Dude, you totally got to wear like a cowboy outfit." And I'm like, okay, I'll go look. And I knew I was going to go look, but I knew I wasn't going to wear it, because look, I'm enough of a poser now liking country music. I'm not about to wear the costume. You know what I mean? That would just be ridiculous. So we went to a Western store, and she bought these fucking awesome boots and a hat. She looked great. And then I will tell you this, if they would have had a decent hat, I may have considered it. That's a lie. But anyway, I would have certainly tried it on and thought it was great and would have thought about buying it. I never would have bought it. All right, so. But they didn't have a good hat. You know why? I found this about myself, folks. In my Cowboy Mike is a white hat guy. I can't wear a black hat. I'd love to be the bad guy, but we're all changing, right? Everything's changing. Black hat Mike punches that kid in the face. I'm white hat Mike. So I actually tried on some hats there, and they didn't have a good white hat. They didn't even have a good one to put on Facebook, so we had to put the black picture on Facebook, the black hat. And I just look ridiculous. I look like, I just look gaunt and terrible. I just look so foolish. And I put it up and I just wrote, well, now this is happening, because I wanted people to think that I was actually buying the outfit. And people were just like, oh my God. But I would never, I couldn't ever. Because she was like, we'll get you a plaid shirt and we'll get you. And I'm like, sure we will. That'll be awesome. Never. That's not who you love, right? You don't love that guy. I mean, I imagine playing dress up can be fun, but dude. So we went, but her hat and her boots look fucking amazing. We go home, we get ready to go to the show, and we went to Summerfest. It was supposed to be freezing. We get to Summerfest. It's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous outside. We meet some of her friends for some beers beforehand, and we're hanging out and getting ready for the Brad Paisley show. We walk into the arena, and she still thinks we have lawn seats. I've told her all along we have lawn seats. So we walk into the arena itself, and she's like, all right, well, you can enter here. And I go, well, you can enter anywhere for lawn seats. So we walk in. And I see section 1, and I go, all right, well, here, we can go in this way. And she's like, well, I don't think you can. And I go, no, it's fine. And we showed the tickets, and we walked in. And we got up to the section, and she's like, well, I'm going to use the restroom. She did. She came out, and she goes, well, we have to head up to the lawn seats. I go, well, let's see what the arena looks like from the middle first. Let's see what it, I just want to see what it's like. And then we'll go upstairs. She said, okay. So we walked in. Nobody really said anything to us. So we walked the aisle between sections 1 and 2. And I went to go walk down the stairs, and I've got her by the hand, and she stops, and she looks at me, and she goes, what are you doing? I said, well, I want to get close. I want to see what it would look like if we were close. And she stopped, and she gave me the side eye, like the look, like, what the fuck are you doing? And she goes, what are you doing? I go, nothing. I go, well, let's take a look. I just want, and so I walked down one step, and she wouldn't move, and I go, I think you need to keep walking. And so she walked down a step, and then I walked another step, and I kept walking. And she stopped about 8 steps in, and she looked at me again with this face like, what the hell? And I go, I think you need to keep walking. And she goes, what did you do? I said, I brought my girlfriend to a concert. And we kept walking, and as we got closer and closer, she stopped and looked at me, and I said, we're almost there. And we got to 12th row. And it wasn't really 12th row. I knew it was 12th row because they had removed rows, because Paisley comes down and plays guitar in this pit. So they took like the first 5 rows out. So we were in 17th row really, but I knew that they took those seats out to have Brad Paisley come close. So I bought them because they were 12th row. And I walked her into the middle, and we were dead center, 12th row. And she just looked at me, and she goes, I am so mad at you right now. I said, you don't have to be mad at me. She goes, I'm not. I just, why did you do this? Lawn seats would have been fine. I go, I know, but I didn't want to do fine. I said, I know you hate surprises. This is the last one I will ever do. She goes, I don't believe that at all. And I said, trust me, I wanted to make the last one a great one. I said, you don't like it, so I won't do it. And she goes, it's not that I don't like it. You shouldn't have done this. You should. And I go, it's fine. I wanted to do it. I wanted to do a nice thing. You deserve nice things. And she smiled. And then the lights went down, and Darius Rucker came out to open for Brad Paisley. And it was great. It was great. Darius Rucker was awesome. I knew, because that's another thing. I knew 7 songs that he did of the 13 that he did. He did a couple of Hootie songs. I knew 2 of his solo songs, country songs. Dude, Darius Rucker played Pink Houses by John Cougar. It started to play, like the chords, just the initial chords started to play, that iconic ding, and the place went bananas. And there's got to be 10,000 people in there. Everybody singing it. Everybody knows the words. And in my head, I went, this is a great American song. This is just a song that will survive forever. It just will. As long as there are white people and liquor, that song will survive forever. And we stood up the whole time and danced and had fun. And there were giant video boards, but we didn't even fucking need them. And Darius Rucker finished, and a DJ came out, and we put a couple of pictures on Facebook, and I took a picture. I will tell you this. I took a picture of myself and Jill, and I put it up, and I wrote, she's a little bit country. I'm just waiting for Guns N' Roses to show up. Now, I was going to write, I'm just waiting for Van Halen to show up, but I thought Guns N' Roses was heavier and would be funnier for the joke. Brad Paisley comes out. Unbelievable show. I don't know a lot of the songs, but the songs that I knew were fucking great. He did the Tick song, was the second song he did. uh, and again, it wasn't about me loving the concert. I had a great time and I enjoyed it, but it was about seeing the look on Jill's face. It was about seeing the look on Jill's face. And it was about the 10,000 people seeing the look on Jill's face when she wound up on the big video board. Because they were shooting into the crowd, and sure enough, they shot her. I missed it. Her kids were at the show and told her about it later. Mom, you were on the big screen. And she goes, I thought that was me, because when she looked, they took her off. And just Brad Paisley was amazing. He was great, and his guitar work is unbelievable. Look, I can any guitar, Andre Segovia, fucking Brad Paisley, I'm in. And the music is just catchy, and people are singing it and having a good time, and that's what it is. It was like the Trews. The Trews were angry, but they made it work for them. Brad Paisley, the entire place just wanted to have a good time. Nobody was fighting or drinking or had attitude or anger. Everybody was there to sing and enjoy it, and they did, and I did, and Jill did. She knew the words, and it was just, he came close by us. I took a ton of pictures, and I haven't sent any to her yet, but I have some great ones. And then we took a picture of us with the fucking video board, and it was a fantastic time. It was so fun. And I will tell you this, in the middle of the show, the band leaves and Paisley goes up on a riser. There's two risers in the back. Paisley's on one and he has a DJ on the other. The DJ had come on between him and Darius Rucker and played some music. Just, regular fucking tunes. So the DJ's up there and he starts kind of like scratching, and then he plays the opening of Smoke on the Water. And then Paisley finishes the riff. So then he plays Sweet Home Alabama, the actual song, and then the place goes crazy, and then Paisley finishes the riff. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I can't, he's got to play Van Halen. I know it's going to happen. So sure enough, he plays a bunch of different songs with guitar riffs, and Paisley finishes them. And then he starts to play this chiming ding, and I hear it, and I go, oh my God. And it's Sweet Child of Mine. And I grabbed my phone because I wanted to tape it, because he played the opening riff and then Paisley finished the riff. But by the time I got the video up, they were done because it was super fast. But I wanted to fucking videotape it and just put on Facebook, holy fuck, Guns N' Roses did show up. But sure enough, the last song the DJ played was it's the drums from Hot for Teacher. And I'm like, oh my God. Well, he played the drums for Hot for Teacher. But then the drummer started playing the drums for Hot Teacher, and I went, you're kidding me. And Paisley hits the fucking pick slide and just he plays the open, and they played Hot for Teacher, the band. Paisley sang it, he came down, they covered Hot for Teacher. And then I'm more pissed I don't write Van Halen as the joke, because I get to tape them fucking playing it and put it up and said, oh my God, fucking Van Halen did show up. So twice I got beaten by my own goddamn joke. I was furious. But, dude, they crushed it. And Paisley crushed it. He was so great. And it was so funny. My buddy Pat asked me, he's like, dude, how did it sound compared to Eddie? I go, nobody sounds like Eddie. Eddie has that sound that just sounds like fucking Eddie. But Paisley played it, and he killed it, and he didn't miss a goddamn note. It just sounded like a different type of take on it, but it was the actual song. And he sang it, and they got it bad, and the fans are singing it. And, again, it just goes to the point that the people who love that music now have kind of gravitated toward country because radio has left them. So they're looking for something that's like rock. I'm going to say this until you believe that I like country music, and you don't make fun of me for it. Nobody's going to make fun of me for it. That song played again. It just knocked me out. So I mean, Paisley was great. Show was fantastic. Show ends, and we leave the amphitheater, and now this is 10,000 people. So when we left Rick, there weren't that many people, and Summerfest was pretty dead on Wednesday. So we walk out, and it is dense with people. I mean, it is packed with people heading for the exits. Paisley finishes, we're walking, and Jill is with me, and she keeps looking at me, and she keeps going, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine, I'm good. And she's holding my hands, and she gets behind me so I can kind of make a hole, and she puts her arms around my waist, and I'm walking through, and then we hit the bottleneck, which is in the front, which is, I mean, nobody's moving, and everybody's right on top of you, and they smell like beer and cigarettes, and they're smoking right in your face, and they're really close to you, and Jill keeps rubbing my sides and going, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm good, I'm fine. Are you okay? She's like, I'm fine. So we go walking out, and we're just... It took an hour to get through the bottleneck. We're taking baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. Then when it starts to loosen up, Jill does her trick. She gets in front of me and she grabs my hand and we start to kind of zigzag through everybody. And she's on a mission. I mean, like, she's flying and we're moving and we're cutting through everybody and everything's working and I'm going and I'm just kind of keeping an eye out because, again, my head is on a swivel because I don't want there to be any trouble and I don't want anything to happen and I just want to get on the bus with Jill and I want to make sure we get there and everything's going to be fine and we're going to get home and everybody's going to be safe and I'm going to be happy and I can get out of this crowd and I don't have to worry about the fact that everybody's fucking standing right on top of me and nothing's going to happen and there's no pink shirts. I look around, there's no pink shirts, everything's fine, traffic is flowing in one direction and everything's smooth and everything's going well and suddenly we're cutting and we're moving and we're coming through the bottleneck and we come up around and Jill's in front of me and she's leading me by the hand, and then a guy comes and he's kind of a drunk idiot and he staggers in front of us and he cuts across traffic and he's a dick and he basically stops everybody and he wanders through and he gets in front of Jill and Jill puts both hands on his back and shoves him out of the way.
What?
Because Jill was single-minded of purpose and we were heading for the bus and you don't fuck with Jill when Jill's in a mindset and I've seen Cat fight Jill and I've seen her get her hackles up and I've seen her get moving and I used to say, you know what, it would be fun to fight with Jill and I got to tell you what, no, it would not be fun to fight with Jill. Take it from a guy who's fought with Jill. It's not fun to fight with Jill. This guy cuts in front of us and she puts both hands on his back because he stops in front of her and we're moving and she just moves him out of the way. And I think we all know that I'm waiting for anything terrible to happen at every moment of my life. So all I see is my 5-foot-tall, 96-pound girlfriend move this guy out of the way and keep walking. And I'm behind her, and he turns around and he goes, "Hey, bitch!" And I think we know me. And I fucking turn around because I'm going to knock every tooth out of his fucking head and then put all of the teeth back into his head and then knock every other fucking tooth out of his head again because you don't do that. And I fucking wheel on him and he basically sees me and scurries off into the crowd. And Jill keeps walking. And I walk with her and I catch up and I grab her hand and I go, "Hey," I go, you kind of pushed that guy out of the way. And she goes, "Well, he cut in front of us. We're moving. We're trying to get to the bus." I go, "You realize if he comes over here, I have to kill him, right? You realize if he comes over here, I have to hit him bad and over, like a lot." And she just goes, "No, you don't. It's fine." And I go, "It's not fine." I go, "Jill, if he comes over here, I have to do something about it. You realize that? I mean, you know, remember 2 nights ago, you didn't want me to do anything, but now if this guy comes over here, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to break his neck." And she goes, "No, you're not." She goes, "Relax." And I go, I can't relax. He called you a bitch." And she goes, "So what? We're walking. It's fine. He's gone." He was cutting across. And I go, "But you do realize that I would have to do something about that." She goes, "No, you don't. I can take care of myself." And I stood there because I'm not supposed to get mad. And this gets to me wanting to protect her and it gets to me getting angry. It gets to all of my issues. It gets to all of my stuff. But she's right. She can take care of herself. And I'll be honest with you, I never would have admitted that to you. I would never be able to tell you that she can take care of herself. I would never even think that. Except right after she said that, the guy came at her and she fucking tripped him and got on top of him, put her forearm in his neck and said, "Say it again, say it again, say it again." And I don't know if I gave her the idea the night before in the bus, but goddamn, she fucking was effective with it. It worked out perfect. To the point where I think we need to incorporate that into the sex bear trap. You get her fucking trip me, get on top of me, forearm in the throat, and go, "Say it again, say it again, say it again." So we rode the bus home that night, and she actually had to go to work late, and the next day I wound up flying out of town, and it's funny because Brad Paisley was a great show, and we had a fantastic time. And I told you that there's a song with him and Carrie Underwood called "Remind Me" that she made her ringtone for me. Well, I don't have any ringtones. You guys have made me like the Paul Stanley one, and I have the "Yurt Dirt Dirt," but I'm old. I'm an old man, and there's no reason for me to have a fucking ringtone on my phone. Until now. Because now whenever the woman I love texts or calls, Luke Bryan tells me to play it again. which is exactly what I want. Because every time it plays again, it means that Jill is texting me or calling me, and I get to have her in my life. And I'll say this. It's been a struggle. It's a constant struggle. And it's something that I fight in my head every day. But it's a much more pleasant feeling to leave town thinking of Jill telling me to play it again, play it again, play it again, than to think of a kid in a pink shirt on the ground and me over him going, say it again, say it again, say it again. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can find our friend David Hernandez at Facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez. He is the genius behind the music. He is the genius behind all of the artwork that you see affiliated with this show. And if you'd like him to do some artwork for you, you can contact him at artbydmh.com. That's artbydmh.com, and hire him to do any sort of painting for you, and he will give you some proofs. I don't know, art speak. I'm sure he'll show you a photo or a picture or a painting or a thumbnail, a sketch. He'll take you upstairs and show you his etchings. But you'll hire him and you'll love what he does for you. Our friend Lily Von Stupp is the producer of this show and my great friend. And I teased her earlier. She doesn't hate everyone. I think I'm still off the hate list. Who knows? I'm working my way onto it. I'm sure eventually. But you can find Lily at Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can find her at several different Twitter accounts. Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp. Twitter.com/MNTs. And Twitter.com/HollywoodBQFest. But if you'd like to write her a personal note and find out just how much medicinal tape one person can get on their body, you can write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
There's like a old, you can do any chords. These are like 50s chords, old.
That's like those, like a Sherelle song or something. Oh, David Watson, bop, shoo, bop, shoo, bop. Oh, David Watson, bop, shoo, bop, shoo, bop. David Watson, bop, shoo, bop, bop. Where are you? Bop, shoo, bop. Atlanta, Watson, bop, shoo, bop, away. Oh, David Watson, bop, shoo, bop, bop. Oh, David Watson, bop, shoo, bop, shoo, bop. Where are you? Atlanta.
Oh, David Watson.
Put your tiny hand in mine. David Watson, under the moon, swear you'll always be mine. David Watson, we shall walk together in eternity. David Watson. Atlanta. Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Tease every Monday night at the 3 Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica. It is the most amazing burlesque show in the history of Los Angeles. It is killing it. It is knocking it out of the park. It is warm in Los Angeles and cool in the room, and the girls are naked and everybody's hot and having a great time. And oh my Christ, I happen to know the producer of that show, and she is truly the best, one of the best people I've known, one of the people I've ever met. Her name is Lily Von Stupp, and she is sitting directly across from me right now, covered in strips of tape. Hi, Lily. Oh, okay.
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. We've been, look, how is Hawaii? Let's talk about Hawaii a little bit. You did the Hawaii Burlesque Festival, and well, how was the trip? I mean, it was again. Okay.
It was wonderful. I had a great time. I was the penultimate act at the festival.
Nice.
I got to go to 4 different beaches. I ate, I think, 15 different types of shaved ice from different places.
Nice.
Went to the zoo and saw a lemur.
A lemur?
Who was looking for his friend Alan. I had a good time.
Nice. Well,
Then
good.
I came home.
Nobody wants to come home from Hawaii. Nobody.
Well, I went straight to Fresno
Oh, so dude, Fresno is your sorbet?
Yeah.
Dude, you know what?
Fresno was great.
But
They
wait,
love
no,
me in
that's
Fresno.
well, Fresno was great. I'm sure it was a great show and you had a good time. But honestly, Hawaii to Fresno to Hollywood, that was smart because it makes you appreciate Hollywood.
No, actually, I am beloved in Fresno.
Oh man, well that goes a long way because Fresno is an armpit. I mean, it is fucking.
No,
I hated it when I was
we
there.
go to the
Jesus.
Full Circle Brewery there, and we do shows, and they are just like the coolest people, and the audiences are just awesome.
Okay.
And they dig a 48-year-old chick with big tits and a foul mouth, so it's fun.
Perfect. Well, actually, you know why? Because that's Fresno. That's literally the city of Fresno is I think that's actually the state motto. 48-year-old chick with big tits and a foul mouth. That's the city's charter. Right on there. Well, good, man. But now you're back and you're running the Monday Night Teas. How was the Monday Night Teas this week?
It was great.
You loved it. You did a great time. Did you
loved
host
it.
or perform or both?
I performed I'm Tired, which I have not done since a year ago, April.
Nice. Brought it out and gave the people a treat.
I did.
Good for you. Now there's a show coming up this week.
Yes.
And it is going to be an amazing show. I understand you've got the magician person. What's that guy's name? The blues
Chad
magician?
Allen is going to be there.
Is he blind magician or blues magician?
Blind blues magician.
Both, right?
Yes.
And he's blind and blues. And I understand there's a variety of acts. There's singers, dancers. It's the whole nine. It's going to be a fantastic show. So that's great. So again, if you want to go to facebook.com/Monday Night Teas, you can become part of the page, and you will get all the information about the upcoming shows that are going to be coming to the 3 clubs on Vine at Santa Monica, including this week's show, with all sorts of women and men and dancing and magic and pasties and fun. And you can go to brownpapertickets.com and go ahead and grab all of the seats for these shows, any seats available for upcoming Monday Night Tea shows. Like I said, you'll get the information from Facebook. You'll head over to Brown Paper Tickets and buy the tickets there, and then you'll go to the show and you'll have a great time. And again, remember, anybody who smacks Lily on the ass gets in free. So good.
No, they don't. They get punched in the face.
Well, 6 of 1. So take your chances, man. Who knows? You know what? Because all right, let's put it this way. Everybody who smacks Lily in the asses gets punched in the face, except for one person who gets in free. So take your chances. It could be a roulette. It could be a lottery. We'll see what happens. So those tickets are available always, and the show is always running every Monday and always will be. And go and check it out. It'll be fun. If you go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, you can go to the Joe Business page. We got all sorts of cool stuff on there, all sorts of me chock full of me and my face and my voice. There is, of course, the Big Angry CD. And I'll tell you this right now. Let's talk about this. Anybody out there who ordered anything from me, anyone who ordered anything from me, everything went out today. Today was mailing day. I was traveling and all that stuff. But today, everything went out the door. That's T-shirts to Canada. That's T-shirts to Atlanta. That's CDs all over the place. So anybody who bought stuff, it went out and it is on its way. I have plenty of shirts available if you'd like to get them. Let's talk about this really quick. Our friend David Watson. No, that was Mitchell Angel. But we had David Watson, bop shoe bop. David Watson, yeah, he was nice enough, and he bought a bunch of shirts. He's like, dude, I want some, and he wanted some older shirts. He's like, whatever you got, man, because he has 3 other shirts, and he's like, fill me in on like other cities or whatever you've got. So he's got a package of stuff coming to him, but I felt badly about it because he wanted a certain size, and I don't have a lot of older shirts in this size, but I did find one. It was funny. I found a shirt, and it's the Minneapolis shirt, which is the Prince shirt, and I only have one of them left now. So because people have bought them, so I had to summon a David, but unfortunately it's got like stuff on it, like damage. It looks like it's got stains on the shoulder, like it looked almost like water damage or something. I don't know where it came from. It's been in my closet. I don't know what the fuck it was. It must have been a bad shipment in the batch. So I felt badly about it, but I know he wanted the shirts. So I called him today because I happen to have his number because he I met him in Atlanta, and I left him a long voicemail because I can't shut up. So I left this long voicemail. I'm like, dude, I'm sending you a retarded shirt. I apologize. And then I told him I was sending other shirts and blah blah blah. And he was very nice, and he replied back, and he's excited to get what he's getting. But it just felt strange. And then so who knows? I might call you. Send your phone number when you order. Who knows? You may get a dial up from me. But there on the site, we've got shirts available. Like I said, shirts. And you can ask about the availability of other shirts. He wanted a San Francisco shirt, but we were out of them, unfortunately. And I loved those shirts. But those went. I do have, you know what I found? Like, I found a prototype Skull Pie shirt, and it's kind of like distressed now in the front, so it's kind of faded. It looks really neat, actually. I wish I could wear it. So we got a bunch of old shirts, and in the new shirts, the Yurt Dirt Dirt shirts. The Big Angry CD is available to be signed and shipped to you. Of course, we have the downloads of Schmitty Comes Alive and we have the For the Life of Schmitty single, which is available. We have year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, and now year 6 of this show available if you want to purchase those as part of the Reservoir Schmidt Dog set, or you want to buy them all individually. You can do just that on the site. You can donate to the show in the upper left-hand corner. There's a little Schmitty. You can click on him and donate a one-time amount, or you can donate $5 a month, $10 a month, $25 a month, or I think there's a $2 a month option as well. And we do appreciate that. Thank you so much for all of the people who donate to the show. And our friend Catherine Johnson just gave us she started to become a monthly donor. Thank you so much, Catherine. We do appreciate that. And what else do we sell on that page? Tweakedaudio.com is a great segment or a sponsor of this show. They sponsor all segments, not just one segment. They sponsor all segments of the show, although I'm sure they probably wouldn't want to sponsor all of them when you ask them, but they're nice enough to go ahead and commit. Also, I will tell you this. We have our Amazon store. And a lot of you are using that, and we do appreciate that. If you go to the Joe Business page and you click through the Amazon pennant, you'll come to our store. And then if you click on the Amazon in the upper left-hand corner, you can shop through Amazon, and we get credit for it. So if you want to pick up stuff on Amazon, that would be fantastic. We'd appreciate it, and we get credit, and it helps the show, and it helps us move forward. And perhaps it will help us fix the audio jack on our friend Lily's laptop computer, which we still have not done. So I will tell you this. She, during the duration of this entire show, held in the audio jack. It's so funny because I had, the previous weeks I felt weird about it, and I told her when I got here, because she unfortunately, she was on vacation and she couldn't get to anywhere. She was in Hawaii, and so we weren't able to get it looked at in time. And so I downloaded Audacity to my computer. So I brought my computer over, and I was just going to use my laptop to go ahead and record the show. And we set it all up, and the Audacity was there, and she set it up, and she learned it was the new program. And then she goes, "You don't have an audio jack." I said, "What?" She goes, "You don't have an audio in jack on your laptop," because I have the smaller version than she has. She has the fucking Cadillac, and I bought the fucking Hyundai. And I said, "Oh," and she said, "Take it away." And so we used her machine, and she literally held in the audio jack the entire show. So man, send her a note and thank her, because she's going to need medicinal tape on her fucking hand after this goddamn show. But yeah, like I said, go to Amazon and take care of that. And if you want to go ahead and use us and use our link, that'd be perfect. And there's all the stuff there that we sell: the T-shirts, the download sets, and the other downloads themselves, the CD, Tweaked Audio. Artwork is available for the show. If you want to go ahead and get some artwork, that's great. You can order that. We have some actually going to Canada soon. David is on that. And any artwork you want, we will go ahead and print it up, and it will be signed by me, by Lily, by David, and you will get it in the mail soon, by the end of the year. It's kind of a process because David has to send it to me, and then we sign it here, and then I send it to you from here in California. But we'll get it to you. If you want artwork, go ahead and get it. It's frameable, and it looks neat, and it's very cool. And is there live stuff for you to plug? You got any other live stuff besides the teas? And I've plugged the website. I wanted to talk about this. I mentioned it earlier in the show. I talked about our friend David Kemp sending us some CDs, and I talked about me going to Alex and Mim's wedding. I'm hoping that they will redo it, because obviously, if I wasn't there, it's not official. You have to have your favorite podcaster at your wedding ceremony. Favorite's pushing it. You have to have a podcaster at your wedding ceremony, or else it's not official. And honestly, with the way podcasting is these days, I'm sure every fucking wedding has a podcaster there. Whether you know it or not, somebody there has a goddamn podcast. But I had mentioned I wanted to talk about some other people, too, who did some cool things. And I wanted to thank Angie Eiler in Seattle. She sent me a very nice thank you note, because remember our friend Stephen Bray passed away this year, and we talked a bit about it, and or maybe last year, I don't remember exactly when, but we sent him a thing for his memorial service. We sent an audio piece that we recorded, Lily and I, and it went well. I guess it was well received, and I guess the memorial service went extremely well. And Angie was nice enough to send us a card to thank us. So thank you so much there, Angie. We appreciate it. Although Angie doesn't listen, Stephen did. But Stephen, you're a ghost, so go ahead and tell Angie. That's cool. I wanted to talk about my friend Erica. Erica, who is always willing to give me a ride to and from the airport. I don't understand why, but she says it's her donation for the show, and thank you so much. She took me at 4 a.m. to go to Milwaukee. I mean, she's just really super cool. And she picked me up on this last trip, and I got in the car, and she looked at me and she goes, "Hey, I got you something." And I'm like, "Dude, what, a ride? Because that's all you get me all the time, and you shouldn't do that. It's crazy nice." And she's like, "No, I got you this." And she handed me an envelope, and I opened it up, and she got me a Van Halen mouse pad.
Woohoo!
And you would think when you hear that, you're like, oh, well, it's the logo or it's some, like a typical thing. No, it is it is just the Frankenstrat. It's Eddie's red and white Frankenstrat on the mouse pad. There, it doesn't say
that's
Van Halen.
awesome.
It doesn't say anything. And it's so funny. It's like, it's the coolest and alternatively the weirdest thing ever because, like, I mean, a mouse pad. It just seems like, hey, by the way, I just met you in the year 2000. Here, enjoy this mouse pad. And I know that's strange because people still use mice. I have a Rolly mouse, but I look at it more as artwork. It's not even like a mouse pad. It's not functional for mouse stuff. I'm not going to put a mice on it. I'm just going to put it on my desk, and it's going to sit there and remind me that the Frankenstein exists and that Eddie is a genius. Because I'll tell you what. Just this week, I threw in Fair Warning, and I've been listening to it because it's my favorite album of all time, as we all know. And I've been listening to it, and dude, it's so great. Eddie's so great. He's just fantastic. He's so good. And I actually put on Facebook today, hey, you remember when that girl was prom queen? Oh, wow. The delivery on that sentence from Dave is just gorgeous. To me, that's an even better delivery than one break coming up. Hey, from Unchained, because hey, you remember when that girl was prom queen? Oh, wow. It's just fucking perfect. It's just a perfect album. So, I mean, Eddie's great, and now I can look at the Frankenstrat right there on my mouse pad and enjoy it and remember that he exists. Thank you, Erica. That was so super cool of you. And I want to talk about this for just a second. We have listeners to the show who become involved, become friends. They meet me, and everybody seems to be very nice, and we get along. And I've talked about people's triumphs, and we've talked about tragedies, and we've talked about people facing adversity, and we've talked about people overcoming adversity. About a year ago, we talked about a listener to the show, our friend John Waltz. And John and Kendall are a couple, and they were very nice to me when I met them in Kansas City. They came to the show, and Kendall actually tried to get me to come to a smaller town out there for John's birthday, and we couldn't make it work. But John is a listener. I think Kendall is also a listener, but I know John is certainly a listener to the show, and they're just great people and great supporters. They've been very nice. They donate every month, and they're really, really nice. Well, John, a year ago, wound up getting cancer, and I talked about it here on the show. And just, to keep a thought for him and to mention it and tell him that we were thinking of him and we wanted to make sure that everything went well for the man and wanted to look out for him as much as we could. Certainly verbally. I mean, I can't do anything. I'm no healer. I can't put my hands on John Waltz and make him better. I can only put my voice into his ears and make him better because my voice is like medicine. God damn it, is it smooth and it goes down great and it makes you healthy and wealthy and wise. Well, you would doubt that except for the fact that this week, a year later, our friend John Waltz got his chemo port taken out, and I think he's cancer-free. I think he's fine. So I saw the post on Facebook. I saw Kendall put it up there, and I thought that was great news. And I remember we had talked about it about a year ago, and I certainly didn't, keep you abreast on it every week because, this isn't a cancer show, for fuck's sake. I mean, it turned out to be this year with my mom and everything else, but if we're going to talk about John Waltz, we're going to say that his chemo port is out and his cancer is gone, and he is a great supporter of the show, and we're happy that he and Kendall are going to be continuing to be great supporters of the show, and hopefully they're healthy and hopefully they're happy and everything goes well for them. And when we talk about John's cancer, I will quote my mom. That's old news. Cancer is old news for my mom. Cancer is old news for John Waltz, and cancer is old news for anybody else who listens to this show because obviously my voice is the cure for cancer, folks, right? I think we pretty much established that. If you listen to the show, no. All right, wait, no, Stephen Bray didn't have cancer. So we can say that positively that whatever Stephen Bray had, I am not the cure for that. Unfortunately, poor Steve passed away. But anybody who's got cancer, listen to the show. It's like the laying on of the hands, except it's the laying on of the earbuds. I am a modern day fucking wailing wall, folks. Come to me and jam pieces of paper in my pocket and I will heal you. I will make you feel better. I will make things work out for you. If you got a sick friend, you got anybody. You know what, as a matter of fact, that chemo port, John should just keep it in and plug his fucking iPod jack into it and let me fucking talk right into his goddamn chest and make sure that it never comes back because I am certainly scaring cancer away. My voice heals it. It takes not surgical at all. You know what it is? Actually, it's surgery. This show is surgery performed with a helicopter. That's what it is. It's like there's no delicate knife strokes and there's no intricate cuts. It is just a fucking guy getting tossed into a propeller and there's blood and guts and viscera all over the goddamn place. But eventually, we'll get his liver out. It's gonna happen. Look, you can't solve everything in 2.5 hours in a stripper's kitchen, folks. That's clean and sharp. Clean and sharp. Clean and sharp. Clean and sharp.